Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about What If Naruto X Strange Justice League Part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for Part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. Dr. Naruto Uzumaki was a complete enigma. For someone with a Japanese name, his comely feature was that of an Englishman. Some said his well-trimmed mustache reminded people of Luke Evans, while others claimed that his alluring and suave smile resembled Tom Hiddleston, which ultimately made him an infamous heartthrob in the hospital. No one really knew about Naruto's past though, mainly because he always joked about being a ninja, but it wouldn't be a stretch to imagine. A few years ago, a gang war broke out in the hospital. The gunfight should have massacred dozens of innocent lives, but the surveillance camera caught footage of Naruto subduing all the perpetrators in A&E, escorting patients out of the premise, rescuing trapped children from a nearby medical ward, and having a ramen feast in the cafeteria, and he did all that at the same time. After the ordeal, coupled with Naruto's unhealthy love for visiting casinos and drinking shaken and not stirred vodka martini, the staff in the hospital dubbed the eccentric blonde James Bond. Needless to say, he was shameless enough to accept that title with glee. However, his attire left much to be desired. T-shirt, ripped jeans, worn-out sneakers. If he didn't put on his lab coat and stethoscope, one would mistake him as a trigger-happy sociopath. This begs the question, how the hell did he get even employed in the first place? Truth is, even the nature of his employment was bizarre. It involves a coin, a promise, and a girl from another planet. Before he was the infamous department chief of neurology in Metropolis Paragon Hospital, he was busy playing Robin Hood, stealing Yakuza's dirty money left and right and giving it to orphanages, thus he was constantly on the run. I don't get why are we even on the run? Given that they are the Yakuza, and that they are mere humans. Wait, you do know that they are humans, right? You also know that we are impervious to any physical injuries, right? You know we can kill them before they can even blink, right? Right. Right? Answer me, you little shit! Naruto rolled his eyes as he took a sharp turn around the corner of an alley, making insouciant looks behind his shoulder to ensure he wasn't followed. When the coast was clear, he sauntered towards a nearby vending machine. How many times must I tell you, Kurama? I am not going to kill them just because I can. Ah. Why not? Kurama whined. I can rip this planet apart if I want to, but does that mean I have to do it? Wait. Don't answer that question. This is the reason why we can't have nice things, Naruto. It's all your fault. You and your stupid conscience are going to get us killed one day. The blonde chuckled. You do know that I can't die, no? Oh? Getting cocky now, huh? Show some respect to your elders, ungrateful punk. Who died and made you god? Naruto shut off his thoughts and rummaged his pockets to dig out some loose change, but during his endeavor, a 50-cent coin fell from his grasp. Scratching his scalp in frustration, the blonde traced after his coin, but it halted right before the foot of a young girl. Hey! That's mine! Much to Naruto's chagrin, the girl picked up the coin and stuck out her tongue at him. What are you doing? Didn't your parents teach you that stealing is a crime? Finders keepers, the girl retorted. The blonde placed a hand on his waist and flicked a finger at the child's forehead, startling her in the process. She nursed the sore spot on her forehead and glared daggers at him. What did you do that for? Naruto stared at the girl incredulously. That's my line. Now play nice and return it to me. Or what? The girl probed with a haughty sneer. Or you're gonna get a spanking from me. Naruto narrowed his eyes, knowing that the relentless girl wouldn't budge, so an idea came to him. Fine. We both want the coin. Let's play a game. Winner gets to have it. The girl's eyes lit up. A game? Yeah, but first, tell me your name. Mary. Mary Batson. What's yours? Naruto grinned. I'll tell you if you win. Hey. No fair. The blonde squat down, maintaining eye contact with the boisterous Mary while he was at it. His cheeky grin was still on his face. Life isn't fair. Get used to it. Now I'll explain the rules of the game real quick, so make sure you listen attentively. You're gonna toss the coin in the air, catch it with either hand, and I'm gonna guess which hand has the coin. Sounds simple? Mary grinned toothily. Yeah. Good, let's play. Eagerly, the girl flipped the coin, but when she was about to catch it, the blonde had already caught it in midair. Mary's eyes widened in shock, registering the fact that she was tricked, and pouted furiously at the blonde. You cheated. Heh. Naruto wrestled himself to a standing position. I never said no cheating. The blonde stuck his tongue out at the girl, who was on the verge of tears. However, to Mary's surprise, a beautiful woman with lustrous black hair fashioned in a punk and rock style had come and smacked the back of Naruto's head crudely, causing him to yelp like an indignant 5-year-old. I let my eyes off of you for 1 minute, and I find you bullying a little girl in broad daylight. Grail was the no-nonsense, shoot-first talk-later kind of woman who had been by Naruto's side for many years. Despite the fact that she looked like the love child of Michelle Rodriguez and Gerard Butler, she had many insecurities. Some would say she had a chip on her shoulder, partly because she had some serious daddy issues with her father, who happened to be the notorious dark god of apocalypse, Darkseid. Me? Bullying her? Naruto pointed an accusing finger at the girl. She was robbing me. It's highway robbery, I tell ya. You gotta believe me, Grail. I wouldn't if I were her. Shut the fuck up, Kurama. No one asked for your opinion, you oversized hairball. Come down here and set it right in front of my face, squirt. Grail scoffed at the blonde, snatched the coin away from his hand, bent down, and smiled cheerily at Mary. Here's an extra $1. Go buy yourself some ice cream with it, Kay? The girl beamed her happiest smile at Grail and accepted the coin. Thank you so much, big sister. Ruffling Mary's hair, the daughter of Darkseid ushered the girl away. Make sure to stay away from this Mina, jabbing with her thumb at the astonished blonde at her side, who looked genuinely hurt. Grail smirked. If you see him next time, Kay? Mary nodded fervently, pulled down her eyelid provocatively at the exasperated blonde, and skipped away. Naruto was screaming bloody murder inwardly, pulling his hair in frustration, and glaring at Grail with eyes reflecting betrayal. He caught a glimpse of Mary turning to him, shaping a L with her fingers, and placing it atop her head, grinning triumphantly at the infuriated blonde. Did you see that? Naruto exclaimed. She's a demon. She's just a little girl, Naruto. Grail supplied. Besides, aren't you being a hypocrite? You gave away the money you stole from the Yakuza to needy children, but you get pissed off at a girl from taking a mere 50 cents from you. I never said I wasn't a hypocrite, Grail. In fact, I'm a proud, handsome hypocrite. Flashing his sparkling white teeth at Grail, Naruto did a strongman pose, but deflated almost immediately when she shoved a stack of flyers to him. Can you not? Can't you just inflate my ego for 2 seconds and not care about work for just 1 moment in your life? Grail scowled. You promised me you're gonna sponsor the tuition fees for my medical school. That's the reason why I joined your escapade with the whole robbing the Yakuza ordeal in the first place. Instead of giving it to me, you threw our effort to charity. All of it. You didn't even spare $10 for me to grab something from Taco Bell. Draping a hand over Grail's neck, the blonde pulled her face close to his chest. Unbeknownst to the blonde, Grail's heart was racing, and she thanked God that Naruto didn't have super hearing, because he would have heard her heart thumping loudly within her chest, but she did her best to hide her flustered state. Don't lie to me, Grail-chan. You enjoyed playing Robin Hood's sidekick the whole time, didn't you? Shut up. Let go of me. The flustered daughter of Darkseid pushed the blonde away. If you were a doctor in some big fancy hospital, earning big bucks, I wouldn't have to work my ass off. I should be living a cushy life like a princess. I want to be a billionaire so freaking bad. Life is tough, Grail. The challenges you face in life helps build character. Naruto lectured sagely, but the bright smile he carried never once faltered. Besides, if I were to give you whatever you want, then you'll never get to appreciate life at its fullest. Be thankful for the hard times. They make you stronger. There is a saying, those who smile the brightest are the ones hurting the most, because they don't wish to see anyone else suffer the way they do. Naruto had gone through enough horrors in a lifetime to become the man he was today. Grail wouldn't say for sure she could have that much compassion and kindness in herself after facing what Naruto had once faced. Perhaps that's the reason why she had fallen in love with a man who had saved her from her broken family. But she knew Naruto only see her as a little sister. Nothing more, nothing less. Alright, let's do this, yeah? Rolling up his sleeves, Naruto offered his brightest smile to Grail, and it was as addictive as heroin, because she couldn't help but smile too. It was then they heard a high-pitched scream. Snapping their attention to their back, they saw a white windowless van zapping past them and Mary sobbing at the side of what seemed to be the unconscious and bloody body of her father. Reacting to impulses, Naruto and Grail bolted to the commotion. What happened? Naruto asked. A hit and run? One of the witnesses offered. Why yeah. That van just drove off, as if nothing happened. It's horrible. As if going autopilot, Naruto removed his trench coat, gestured Grail to ward off the growing crowd, and yelled. Someone called 911. Hurry! Switching his gaze to the body of Mary's father, Naruto was relieved to know the man was breathing, but barely. he calmly asked. Can you move your fingers? The man only managed to let his pinky twitch. Placing a hand on the man's chest, Naruto transfused a light pulse of chakra into the man's thorax, allowing his vision to be bombarded by visions of the man's inner cavity, and it worked better than any CT scan or X-ray could ever achieve, because he could pinpoint any anomaly in a matter of seconds. Multiple broken ribs. One of them has already punctured his left lung. His diaphragm could have been torn. We need to send him to the hospital right now. If his breathing isn't stabilized within the next 30 minutes, things will get dangerous from then on. This man's daughter just swindled your money. Let him die. He deserves it. Despite being submerged in a state of mass hysteria, a small smile curled at Naruto's lips. You are one cranky, old liar, Kurama. Grail hugged the wailing Mary close to her bosom, rocking the frantic girl back and forth. It's gonna be okay. Everything is gonna be okay. Mina here is a doctor. Naruto glanced up at Grail's distraught face and Mary's pleading eyes. Balling his fists, he gave them a reassuring smile. The ambulance is coming. Everything will be okay. Answer me this question, Naruto. Are you saving people because you sincerely want to save them, or are you doing it because you're hoping that one day, someone will come and save you like you did others? Metropolis Paragon Hospital had always been crowded with patients, due to its prestigious heritage for breeding prominent doctors and its reputation for having the lowest mortality rate amongst other renowned hospitals in the world. However, on that very day, a bank robbery took place near the hospital, resulting in a sudden flood of severely injured patients coming into A&E. Professor Diana Prince led a platoon of doctors into the emergency ward. Her confident gravitas demanded only obedience and respect from her peers. Steady your hands when you attend to the patients, no matter how dire situations may be. Am I clear? Crystal, ma'am, the doctors yelled in unison. Move out, Diana exclaimed, moving in a gait befitting of an aristocrat across the emergency ward. Her composure never once wavered. It was at that time when Naruto, Grail, Mary, and Mary's father were brought into the hospital by the ambulance. Grail was keeping the trembling Mary close to her side, while Naruto was awfully composed. When the paramedics rushed Mary's father to the emergency ward, Naruto was making himself comfortable, pouring himself a warm cup of water from the dispenser and taking careful sips. Perturbed by Naruto's nonchalance, Grail chastised. Naruto! Do something! The blonde blinked. What do you want me to do? I'm not a doctor. They are. Tilting his chin at the horde of doctors scrambling in disarray to their patients, Naruto heaved a heavy sigh. 15 minutes flew past, but all the other doctors were occupied with other patients that they had not noticed Mary's father was in need of medical attention too. We both know that's bullshit. Grail gritted her teeth and pointed a finger at the disproportionate ratio between the abundance of patients requiring immediate attention and the lack of doctors tending to everybody. Something must have happened. A&E usually are not this crowded. The doctors can't attend to everybody at once, especially when the number of patients easily outnumber the doctors 10 to 1. Nobody is attending to Mary's dad. You. I'm not a doctor, Naruto interjected. Besides, I can't risk getting sued by the hospital because I was masquerading as a doctor. I still have to help pay your school fees, remember? To hell with my school fees, Grail roared. If I have to sacrifice medical school for Mary's dad, then I'll do it in a heartbeat. No question asked. Isn't that what you taught me all these years? To rise above principle and do what's right, not what's easy. The blonde averted his gaze and stood up from his seat, but he was surprised when the girl tugged at his hand. If I pay you, will you save my daddy? Naruto stared at the crestfallen girl solemnly. Depends on how much you pay me. Mary handed the 50-cent coin, the same 50-cent coin she cheated from Naruto, back to him. Will this be enough? The blonde answered quietly, of course not. Hot tears streamed down Mary's rosy cheeks. It was as if her world had just collapsed. A maelstrom of thoughts struck her. She didn't want to be alone. She didn't want to lose another loved one. Breaking into frenzied sobs, Mary stared with teary eyes at her shoes. Grail clenched her fists and looked away, resisting her urge to shed her tears. She could empathize with Mary, because she had lost her beloved mother in an accident, so she swore an oath to never let another child go through what she had gone through. Grail was about to reprimand the blonde from being heartless, but when she saw the twinkle in his warm sapphire eyes as he studied the coin in between his fingers, at that very moment, she regretted doubting the man she looked up to. Mary almost choked in her sobs. I want my dad to live, mister. Don't want to be alone. Please save him. Naruto patted the girl's head affectionately. Damn it. Me and my conscience is gonna get me killed one day. In the back of his mind, he could hear Karama laughing lightheartedly. Dr. Barbara Gordon's aspiration to be a physician stemmed from a childhood trauma that involved her father, who happened to be the police commissioner of Gotham City. She would never forget that fateful incident. She was only 12. Her father got a promotion and wanted to celebrate with her, but on their way to a local diner for dinner, a gang of mafia ambushed them. In her father's attempt to protect her, he was fatally shot by a hail of bullets. Her father would have been a goner if that mysterious doctor with unkempt golden hair didn't arrive in time to save him. Ever since that day, Barbara was invigorated with the passion to save lives and hope of one day meeting her father's savior. She graduated summa cum laude from Gotham State University and received an internship in one of the best hospitals in the world, Metropolis Paragon Hospital. However, her good grades did not prepare her for the state of mass panic that was happening in the emergency ward. Her mind was overwhelmed with the screams reverberating in the hallways. As she was about to attend to a nearby patient, she was pulled to the side. Aggravated and annoyed, Barbara turned to the perpetrator with unkempt golden hair and scowled. "What can I do for you, sir? I'm kinda busy. This patient is having cardiac arrest. I need a defibrillator now." Barbara frowned. "Who are you to order a doctor? Are you a doctor or a thug? Go get it. Now." The dazed and befuddled intern nodded hastily and went to retrieve the machine. When the bemused Barbara brought the defibrillator to the bedside, the enigmatic blonde administered the device like an experienced doctor would and shouted, 200 joules, now. "You can't do this without proper." "I said now." Barbara swallowed down her consternation and pride, and did what she was told. Delivering the shock into the patient's chest, the blonde growled, "Again." The young intern watched in silent awe as the stranger performed a successful resuscitation for the dying patient. "There's blood pooling in his lungs. Get me a 28 FR chest tube now." "Pull yourself together. You're a goddamn doctor. If you can't even control your emotions in times like these, how do you expect your patients to entrust their lives in your hands? Now go and get me those damn chest tube." Nodding wearily, Barbara bolted to the medicine cabinet, dug out the required tool, and brought the chest tube hurriedly to the blonde. Without hesitation, he applied anesthetic on the side of the patient's chest, plunged the blade of the scalpel into the designated spot, and skillfully inserted the chest tube. "Hold the patient down. It will be a hassle if the patient starts to thrash around." Beads of sweats were forming profusely on Barbara's forehead as she pressed her hands down on the patient's shoulder blades firmly, but she never once left her sight away from the stranger's dexterous hand. Truth be told, Barbara couldn't even fathom how fast and precise the blonde was moving. "Take a deep breath." Huh? Barbara blinked. "It's okay to be scared. I take it you're new, huh?" The blonde fiddled with the chest tube, trying to transverse it to the blood pool within the patient's chest cavity. Barbara could only nod wordlessly. "I got over my shaky hands when I saved 2 patients whose legs were blasted off clean by landmines." Naruto connected the chest tube into the drainage canister and rubbed his hands together. "They didn't make it through, but that lesson taught me not to let my fear get to me. The greatest mistake you can make in life is fearing you will make one." "You were a military doctor?" Naruto smiled. "Something like that." Resting his hand over the patient's head and transmitting a small pulse of chakra into the brain, the blonde blinked. "The concussion he suffered during the accident is causing acute cerebral hemorrhage. You need to get a neurosurgeon to operate on him fast." "But it will take us a while to find a suitable neurosurgeon," Barbara argued. "Give or take, it'll probably take half an hour for us to find one." "We don't have time for that. The longer we delay the surgery, the higher the probability for fatal death to occur." The young intern looked around the emergency ward and spotted Professor Diana performing ad hoc surgery on a poor sap, whose body was riddled with bullet holes. The other veteran doctors were not faring well either. Biting her lower lip, Barbara was having a war within herself. There was no way she had the aptitude to perform such a sophisticated surgery by herself. Besides, she was a mere intern who didn't have any authority to undergo operation without supervision, which means... "I'll do it," Naruto sighed. "But you're not registered as a doctor in our hospital." "Is now the time for something as trivial as that?" The blonde growled and jabbed with a finger at the dying man. "Look at him. The patient is going to expire if we don't do something. If you have the time justifying the necessity of obliging to regulation, then I suggest you to take those precious time and put it to good use. A doctor should put the patient's life above all else. I intend to make sure he lives, so are you in or what?" "Why?" Barbara narrowed her eyes, dubious about the stranger's ulterior motives. Why do you want to save him? Because I made a promise to a girl. A promise that involves me saving her dad no matter what. Now, are you going to help me keep that promise or are you going to be a hindrance? The intern grimaced. I need to report to my supervis. We don't have the time for that, Naruto retorted heatedly. Make a decision now. Fine. Barbara started pushing the hospital bed to the doorway. Let's go. I'll bring you to the operating room. Naruto smiled and nodded. Good girl. A wave of nostalgia washed over Barbara. His charming yet soothing voice that somewhat calmed her nerves triggered a fragmented memory to resurface. She could have sworn she had heard his voice before. Shaking her troubled thoughts away, Barbara was determined to get her task at hand completed. Her conviction only grew stronger when the charismatic blonde offered her a kind smile. We need an anesthesiologist. You know one? Barbara blinked. I'll help. The source of the husky, yet enchanting voice belonged to a bodacious woman with coiffured black hair. Her beauty was elegance personified, and when she raked a hand through her silk-like hair, it was as if she was shooting for a Victoria's Secret commercial. As a doctor, she surely didn't dress like one, because her white corset, black miniskirt, fishnet stocking, and high-heeled shoes made her look more like a seductress than a physician. Perhaps Naruto had watched too much movies, but this woman standing before her, with sparkling emerald eyes that let off a vibe of mischief, was what a femme fatale in a typical 80s spy movie would look like. Brushing a few strands of ebony hair behind her ear, Dr. Zatanna Zatara's crimson lips curled up into a Cheshire grin. I know I'm attractive, but if you keep your eyes on me for too long, your patient will die soon. Careful, Squirt. This one screams bad news. She's a magician. Pardon? Instead of pulling bunnies out of hats, these magicians prefer pulling hats out of bunnies. You catch my drift? How do you pull hats out of bunnies? I mean, where do you even pull it out? Oh, that's 50 Shades of Nasty. Exactly. Zatanna was used to guys falling head over heels in love with her, but when Naruto unexpectedly took a bold step forward, erasing the distance between them, and plucked a bead of rice from the side of her plump lips, all the while schooling his expression, she found herself intrigued with the man. When it comes to my patients, I'm never distracted. So I take it you're an anesthesiologist? Nodding slowly, Zatanna fixated her curious gaze at Naruto. Barbara harumphed loudly, breaking the tension in the air. Operating room 2 just free up. Shall we? To say Naruto was one of the most skilled neurosurgeons Barbara and Zatanna had ever seen was the understatement of the century. He was able to perform a flawless craniotomy in record time, but he had bolted out of the operating ward afterwards like his life depended on it, leaving Barbara and Zatanna awestruck and confounded. What happened here? Diana's domineering voice echoed within the chamber. Her voluptuous figure loomed ominously before a trembling Barbara and an annoyed Zatanna. As you can see, Zatanna retorted, pointing a finger at the unconscious patient lying on the operating table. We saved this man's life. Diana raised a brow. Who was the surgeon in charge? Her predatory eyes shifted to Barbara, who almost jolted in fright when her hawk-like eyes were cast at her. I wasn't the surgeon in charge. Then who gave the green light to this surgery? Shrugging nonchalantly, Zatanna removed her gloves, all the while avoiding Diana's gaze. Some stranger demanded to operate on the patient. Since all the other doctors had their hands full, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth when he offered to help operate, especially when said horse is way better than any neurosurgeons I have worked with, and that's saying something. And you just let him do as he pleases? Diana said. Venom was practically dripping from her tone. Zatanna glanced up and met Diana's unforgiving glare. He saved the man's life. That's all that matters. And what if he couldn't? Anybody would have succumbed to Diana's smothering aura, but not Zatanna. She stood tall and proud without exuding any traces of fear. I'll take full responsibility then, Professor Diana. But, as it seems, the stranger not only saved this patient's life, but the hospital's reputation as well. If news got out that our hospitals were understaffed and unintentionally allowed a patient to die under our watch, guess whose head is on the guillotine? Diana scowled. Are you threatening me, Dr. Zatanna? I'm stating facts, Professor Diana. Zatanna responded with a devil-may-care attitude. Since when did we doctors put rules and regulations above our patient's life? Exhaling a seething breath, Diana regained her composure, pinched the bridge of her nose, and feigned a smile. Where did this stranger go? Beats me. Zatanna let out a yawn. He ran away after the surgery. You should see that man work. He's a miracle worker. No doctor can pull off that surgery without a decade worth of experience. Anyway, my shift is over. Barbara! Barbara straightened herself. Yes. Clean up the mess and find a room for the patient. The dark-haired beauty commanded coolly, gave Diana a respectful bow, and strode past her. Naruto was strutting jovially across the hospital's corridor like Leonardo DiCaprio would, humming to Maroon 5's Sugar exuberantly. Grail appeared beside the blonde, catching up with his pace. She noticed the blonde was smiling as if he had struck lottery. Placing her hands behind her back, Grail smiled cheerfully. Thanks for saving Mary's dad. Fiddling with the 50-cent coin in his grasp, Naruto smirked. I didn't do it for free. For a mere 50 cent? Grail teased, pinching his bicep playfully. Admit it, Naruto. You're a big softy. You act tough and all that, but inside you is a teddy bear, waiting to be cuddled and hugged. Shut up, Grail. The blonde exclaimed, his face flushed with embarrassment. I'll have you know that I have a reputation to uphold. The daughter of Darkseid quirked a brow. What reputation? She erupted into a guffawing frenzy, all the while pointing a mocking finger at him. Rolling his eyes, Naruto couldn't help but chuckle. His clumsiness got the best of him though when the coin in his hand dropped, causing him to mumble obscenities under his breath. It was déjà vu all over again. The coin bounced its way to a pair of gray Crocs. Gazing up, Naruto found himself face to face with a very angry woman. Was it wrong for him to say that the woman looked incredibly sexy when she was puffing in rage? Are you a horned dog who forgot to shag for 10 millennium? Get your head out of the gutter and start using some common sense, you dunce. This woman is more dangerous than Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct. But she's hotter than Sharon. You're missing the point. The beautiful woman with cascading mahogany hair was scrutinizing him with dangerous eyes. Yeah, she's eyeing me out like I owe her $1 billion. Not that, you incorrigible fool. Her posture, her stance, and her physique screamed seasoned warrior. She can conceal all she wants, but there is no hiding that divine power within her. Now that I think about it, there is something awfully wrong about this hospital. Don't you find it strange that there is an exodus of supernatural beings residing in this hospital? What can I say? I'm a trouble magnet. If only I can say the same thing when it comes to hot chicks. Diana crossed her arms under her ample bosom. Are you the one who did that illegal surgery in my hospital? Your hospital? Naruto scoffed, before he took a squint at the professor's name tag. I don't see your name written on the walls, Professor Diana Prince. Even if you're a doctor, you need a permit to operate at foreign hospitals. That's standard protocol. The blonde scratched his scalp in frustration. That's because it was an emergency. Your license can be suspended if we report to the American Medical Association. Naruto paused and shifted his frosty gaze at Diana. The pregnant pause lasted for quite some time, even Grail was unsettled by it. Go ahead then. Diana stared in disbelief at Naruto. What? Do it. The dauntless blonde closed his distance between him and the professor. If the media were to know your hospital relied on a foreign doctor like me to save your sorry ass, can you imagine what the publicity would do to your hospital's reputation? I'm pretty sure your precious AMA will be more than happy to send down investigators to dig out whatever deep, dark, naughty secrets you guys have been hiding. Clenching her fists, Diana bent down to pick up the 50-cent coin, stored it in her breast pocket, and glowered fiercely at the blonde. I do not respond to threat. I make them. Don't think for a second you can play with fire and get away unscathed, boy. Naruto elbowed Grail's forearm playfully. I guess someone is on her period. Without hesitation, Diana grabbed a handful of cloth from Naruto's shirt and pulled it violently to her. Do you think this hospital is a playground to you? An overzealous Kurama was drooling with anticipation as he chanted aloud in glee, Fight, 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 fight. The blonde chuckled, unfazed by the brunette's aggression, and quipped, No, but I think you're overcompensating your sense of worth by wearing slightly masculine clothing, being too aggressive than your male colleagues for anybody's liking, which gives you a prickly demeanor. I guess your peers mistook your pride for being a dragon lady as arrogance, girl. His jest and anathematization should have gotten him killed, so he thought, but Diana abruptly did a 180 and allowed an angelic smile to grace her lips. She let her firm grip over Naruto's shirt loosened, straightened his collar, and stood a little straighter. Men, always assuming, always criticizing, but never reflecting. That's the fallacy of your DNA. You thought you can rile me up with small talks? Let me tell you this, I am not the sort of enemy you want to make. Ah. Shots fired. Do you know when a woman stops arguing with you and starts agreeing with whatever you're saying, that's when shit is about to get real. Right now, she just went from Tony Montana to Miranda Priestly, And from what I gathered after watching Devil Wears Prada, you are about to get your nuts bisected. That's awfully graphic, Kurama. You're a doctor, Naruto. Crushed balls should not faze you. Shut up. Even doctors feel pain, okay? Kurama snickered. You're in the danger zone. I think you have no idea who you're talking to, Kurama. Allow me to rephrase the great old Walter White. I am not in the danger zone, Kurama. I am the danger zone. A guy opens his door and get his butt whooped, and you think that of me? No. I am the one who whoops the butt. Why are you not speaking? Diana scoffed. By the gods, do you really have that much audacity to ignore me when I'm talking to you? Has your testosterone deafened you? Answer me, barbarian. In the midst of Naruto's musing, the scent of vanilla lavender fragrance suddenly hit his nose. He would never forget that mesmerizing scent, because it was the same scent Hinata used to have. Naruto's eyes widened when he realized that Diana shared the same preference for perfume like Hinata did. Swallowing down his apprehension, the blonde chuckled. I'm starting to feel very butthurt by your sexist comment. Naruto took a weary step back, grabbed Grail's wrist, and smiled uneasily at Diana. I think I need to go home now, get myself some antiseptic cream, apply it on my sore butt, and rest for the day. See you around, dragon lady. Winking at a peeved and bemused Diana, Naruto spun around and attempted to make a dash with Grail to the exit of the hospital, but their path was obstructed by another imposing figure. Any ordinary person would perceive the bearded man in a bland suit as a typical average Joe, but his mere presence incited tremendous fear from Kurama, and that's enough warning to drive Naruto on high alert. What the fuck is wrong with this place? Did you just stumble into the Super Underpants Association? Naruto swallowed. What's wrong, Kurama? You sound afraid? No time for chats and giggles, Naruto. This is goddamn DEFCON 1. Get the fuck out of here now. This guy is. I'm James Corrigan, Chief Doctor of MPH. Please call me Jim, though. Jim chuckled while adjusting his spectacles. I happened to come across the footage of you performing surgery on a patient, and I must say that you have a pair of marvelous hands. If I don't know any better, I might mistake you as Jesus's incarnate. That surgery was exceptionally hard to perform, I must say. Naruto narrowed his eyes. I'm not sure what you're getting at, but I need to go. Jim diverted his attention to Grail. Do you want to be a doctor, miss? The chief physician smiled. Let's make a deal, shall we? Pointing a finger at Naruto, Jim offered. If you are willing to be part of our medical staff, we'll sponsor for her. Jim shifted the target of his finger to Grail. Her tuition fees in Harvard Medical School. Hell, we'll even give her monthly allowance so she can start interning in our hospital immediately. The catch is simple. There was this dangerous glint in Jim's eyes that Naruto just didn't like. Join us. Don't take up that deal, Naruto. There's no free lunch in this shitty world. I never intend to take up such a shady deal in the first place, but why are you so afraid of this guy? I'm not afraid. Arg. It's complicated. I'll explain to you later. Just get out of here. Naruto cleared his throat and responded impassively, Nah, I'll pass. Let's go, Grail. Grail gasped, cursing inwardly at a missed opportunity for her to get herself a scholarship from one of the best hospitals in the world. She glared at the blonde, fuming in umbrage, but his grim expression puzzled her. Although Naruto might seem like an impetuous who recklessly caused trouble for his own twisted pleasure, he never does things without reason, so when he ushered her to move, she dared not object. That didn't mean she wasn't pissed. I understand my offer may come off as sudden, so how about this? If you do reconsider my offer, drop by my office anytime. I'll be more than happy to talk it out with you. Jim smiled as he watched Naruto drag Grail along with him to the exit of the hospital. Diana shook her head and stood beside the chief physician. You're going to let them go? Just like that? Professor Diana, I have an important task for you. Jim's smile grew disturbingly wider. Unbeknownst to Diana, Jim's eyes were radiating an eerie green glow. You'll be representing Metropolis Paragon Hospital to recruit that man as our doctor. I don't care what it takes. Bring him to his knees if you would. Make him join us. He will make a splendid collection in our ranks. The bus ride back to Naruto's rural clinic was awkward to say the least. Grail was fuming in exasperation, disgruntled by the fact that Naruto had willingly given up an opportunity for her to get a scholarship in Harvard Medical School, but what aggravated her the most was that the blonde didn't even apologize to her or bother to justify it. An unnerving silence surrounded them, not the good kind, but the heavy one that made her hold her breath. If there's one thing she was familiar about the blonde was that he was anything but quiet. Crossing her arms, Grail gritted her teeth. Don't you have something to say to me? Naruto arched a brow, his gaze fixated intently at his phone. Am I supposed to say anything to you? Turning to the blonde, the daughter of Darkside pouted. Can you stop pretending nothing happened? You just turned down an opportunity for me to attain a scholarship in Harvard? Do you even know what that scholarship means to me? The blonde sighed, locked his phone, and turned to Grail. I promise you I'll pay for your tuition, but I'll do it on my terms. That guy may look creepy, but he just wanted you to be part of that hospital. Do you even know how many doctors will kill for that job? I am not those doctors then, Naruto retorted. Look, there are some things you don't understand and… Then explain to me so I can understand it. Grail countered heatedly. You always go and decide things for me. And then you make it seem like it's for my best, but why don't you ask me what I want to do? Huh? Why can't I decide what's best for me? Naruto sighed. Grail. Stop treating me like a 10-year-old, Naruto. I'm no longer that girl who cries myself to sleep because mommy wasn't there for me. Grail almost screamed, all the while forgetting the fact that she was in a crowded bus. Naruto shot subtle glares at those who were looking at Grail, before returning his attention to the exasperated girl before her. I'm old enough to differentiate right from wrong, so stop hiding things from me. Am I not? Am I not? Grail clenched her trembling fist hard enough to draw blood, something that didn't go unnoticed by Naruto. Am I not family to you? You will always be family to me, Grail. But some things are better left unheard. Naruto held Grail's hand and the self-inflicted bloody trenches on her palms were miraculously gone. He offered her a gentle smile, warming her heart in the process. I can't tell you what that man is. Frankly, I'm not even sure what he is, but my instinct tells me he is someone we should stay away from, and my instinct rarely fails me. I can lift this bus with 3 fingers. The daughter of Darkside snorted. And you never once beat me in a spar. Naruto smirked. He had always made short work of her whenever she challenged him to a duel, so that statement was equivalent to him pouring salt on her wound. Grail pouted and crossed her arms. Shut up. If everything is given to you so easily, you'll never truly appreciate what you have. Naruto smiled. Now sit back down and enjoy the ride back home. It's always nice to have some peace and quiet. The daughter of Darkside gazed out of the bus window with a frown on her face. The bus eventually pulled to a stop near Naruto's clinic. He had to drag a reluctant Grail with him off the public transport. The stroll back home was something Naruto cherished the most. The night ambience was soothing, the air carried the fragrance of morning spring, and the streets were usually empty. Naruto wasn't able to indulge in that moment of tranquility when he glanced up at the night sky and saw a blazing meteor blitzed across the clouds. Narrowing his eyes, the blonde discerned the trajectory of the meteor's flight, only to gasp in horror when he realized where it was about to land. Grail came to the same conclusion and looked at him. You can run? The blonde quipped. I can't imagine how you can still be so carefree when that damn thing is gonna hit our house. Race you there. Naruto gave Grail a playful wink before he vanished almost instantly. When Naruto materialized his form into his house, the meteor had already crashed into his backyard. He surveyed the crash site warily, uncertain of what to make of the situation, because the meteor looked more like a spaceship. The fact that he could detect life within the foreign object confounded him. Hopefully, it wasn't some homicidal cockroach alien from Men in Black. Ambling towards the damaged spaceship, Naruto peeled off what seemed to be the door of the aircraft like peeling onions and took a peek into it. There was no deranged cockroach alien or bloodthirsty xenomorphic creature waiting for him, just a beautiful girl with vibrant golden hair lying unconscious and within. You watched that old-school 90s movie called Species? Yeah? It's about a hot blonde chick alien killing guys while having sex with them. You better watch out or you're gonna end up in the ghetto. I think we need to stop watching horror flicks. It's starting to make us paranoid. Naruto plunged his hand into the aircraft and tore a chunk of metal off so that he could effortlessly reach out for the girl. Placing a hand on her chest, Naruto released a pulse of chakra into her body to assess her vitals, only to widen his eyes in dismay. It was at that moment Grail appeared behind him and let out a whistle of awe. Wow, you don't see this every day. The blonde turned to the still oblivious Grail and shouted, Go get the defibrillator. She's having a cardiac arrest. Dumbstruck, Grail's jaw remained unhinged as she tried to register the suddenness of the situation. What are you waiting for? Naruto snapped, Go get it, now. Grail bolted towards the clinic in a haste and her body went autopilot. She switched on the lights, prepped the operating table, and pulled out an ALS defibrillator from the corner of the operating room, just in time for Naruto to barge in with the unconscious alien girl resting in his arms. Once the blonde laid the alien on the operating table, he took off his Armani leather jacket and tossed his Jaeger-LeCoultre tourbillon watch aside. Grail. Stop spacing out and turn on that damn thing. Naruto bellowed, his gaze fixated fiercely at the still idle ALS defibrillator. Climbing atop the unconscious frame of the beautiful blonde girl, Naruto started performing CPR on the patient. Despite working as a nurse in Naruto's clinic, Grail still wasn't used to handling exigent operations. It was nerve-wracking for Grail when Naruto went into his doctor mode, because he became a man who wouldn't tolerate any slip-up. God knows how many scoldings she endured from the blonde when she couldn't find a proper vein in the patient's elbow pit for injection, but his stringent attitude made her stronger. Swallowing down her trepidation and shaking off her trembling hands, she gave herself a determined nod and readied the defibrillator. Doctor. 200 joules, ready. Naruto took the paddles and dexterously applied shock to the alien girl. Again. Biting her lower lip anxiously, Grail watched in silent awe at Naruto resuscitating the alien, who looked awfully like Sarah Underwood than E.T. Yes, Grail used to be an avid fan of Playboy magazines, but nobody could blame her for having such guilty pleasure, because if Naruto didn't carelessly leave stacks of those lewd stuff lying around the house like as if they were decors, she wouldn't have become a closet pervert. Don't judge. Grail, you're spacing out again. If you're not gonna be any help, then get out of my or. Snapping out of her trance, Grail stood rigid. I'm sorry, Doctor. I don't need your goddamn apologies. I want you to be focused. Naruto exclaimed heatedly. Get ECG prepared. Her pulse is coming back, but we need to monitor her heart rate. Yes. Scrambling her way to the electrocardiograph, Grail switched it on, connected the electrodes to the machine, and skillfully placed the pads on Sarah Underwood lookalike's body. Naruto stood aside, observing Grail performing an excellent electrodes placement that even some junior doctors were inept at doing, and she wasn't even a medical student yet. At that moment, Naruto did not see the monster Grail was born to be, but an aspiring soon-to-be doctor who would be saving countless lives in the future. He couldn't help but smile proudly. She wasn't that homicidal, deranged, and depressed 12-year-old girl he adopted all those years ago. Grail had blossomed into something beautiful, and Naruto was glad to turn her life around. Folding his arms, Naruto raised his chin and gazed at the electrocardiograph, analyzing the report with narrowed eyes. Grail, tell me what you think about her ECG. Glancing at the data on the screen, Grail harumphed, brushing strands of raven hair behind her ear. The rhythm of her heart is too fast and erratic. It's definitely ventricular tachycardia, but her QT interval suggests torsades de points. Arching a brow, Naruto gave Grail a flabbergasted look. Pacing around his small yet well-equipped operating room, the blonde placed a hand on his hip and tilted his head. You have been studying a lot, huh? Rubbing a finger across her nose, Grail smiled impishly and pumped out her chest with confidence. Of course. I wasn't kidding when I said I want to be a doctor like you. Ruffling her hair affectionately, Naruto grinned. So, doctor, what do you suggest we do? Grail chuckled sheepishly. I'm actually not sure. You still have much to learn. The blonde let out a sigh, but gave the girl a wink. Go get magnesium sulfate ready. Yes, sir. The daughter of Darkseid gave him a mock salute, stifled a giggle, and ran to the medicine cabinet. While Grail was occupied with her task, Naruto ambled towards the unconscious form of the alien and cupped a hand on her forehead, transmitting pulses of chakra into her body. When the blonde had conceived the alien's physiology, he widened his eyes in astonishment and gasped. What the? Whoa! What's with this girl? She shares similar molecular structure like us, but Kurama frowned. Is she a plant or what? Her cellular makeup carries photosynthetic properties. Can we call her Plant Girl? Has a nice ring to it, don't you think? Heh. Now that I think about it, she should definitely be the poster girl for Plant vs. Zombie, no? Naruto rolled his eyes, ignoring Kurama's playful snickers. Doesn't her body's molecular structure reminds you of Hashirama Senju? Yeah. It sure does, but this one is different. We should kill her. Registering Kurama's abrupt request and the blatant venom laced in his cold voice, Naruto was dumbstruck. What? Kill her before she becomes the next Kagaya. There was no hint of playfulness in Kurama's words, just steel-hard conviction, something that Naruto wasn't used to hearing. She's pretty docile now, huh? It's gonna be easy to slit her throat. Hell, she's not gonna feel anything anyway. You're a doctor, aren't you? Surely you know where her brachial artery is. One clean slice and we can grant her an easy death. Oh, Kurama, you. We can't trust anybody to have such powers. Nobody should attain the power of gods. Put her down, Naruto, before she becomes a rabid dog. Kurama. Are you hearing me? Kill her now or I'm gonna do it. Oh, Kurama. Don't talk back to me, Naruto. Kurama's furious roar wasn't just blind rage, because Naruto could feel fear and desperation emanating from his tone. I can already foresee the mayhem this thing will wrought. In case you have forgotten, let me remind you. There were 6 billion people back in our world when Kaguya attacked. The Mugen Tsukuyomi hit more than 99% of the world's population. Let me do the math for you. That's 5.94 billion people dead and gone. And then it became some World War Z shit, because they all turned into zombies and started killing anything that moves. Naruto clenched his fists. Kurama, listen. No, you listen to me. You have seen what happens when someone wields absolute power. I wield absolute power, Kurama. It's because you're different, Naruto. What makes me so different from Kaguya? Huh? Because unlike her, you have a conscience. Naruto pointed a finger at the unconscious alien. And she doesn't? Let me be frank with you, Naruto. If Grail led her life astray, I will put her down like a sick dog. Kurama! Naruto! Kurama was outright seething. Don't you dare let your emotions cloud your judgment. Just because you're getting chummy with Grail, doesn't mean she isn't a monster. Her father is goddamn Darkside. She has both the blood of an Amazon and a dark god running in her veins. We both know what would happen if you didn't dive into her mind and seal her insanity away. Naruto hated to admit it, but he would go as far to say that Grail might become twice the monster her father was if there was nobody to bring light in her dreary life. Grail was born to be a harbinger of destruction, and if she was raised by her father, she would jolly well be a ruthless despot who cared for nobody but herself, but Naruto knew better. The circumstances of her birth, along with the powers she was bestowed with, had nothing to do with what she was today. It was what she chose to do in her life that determined who she really was. Naruto could empathize with her, because like her, he was born a monster, but he overcame his horrid fate with sheer willpower, and so could she. Naruto would not allow Grail to become a monster. Taking in a deep breath, the blonde regained his composure. Then answer me this, Kurama. If I decided to wipe out humanity, will you put me down too? There was a moment of tense silence between Naruto and Kurama. Neither spoke for a long time, but when Kurama broke into mischievous guffaws and squashed the tension between them, Naruto let out a breath of relief. I was just fucking around with you, bro. Chill out, dude. It's just a prank, bro. Are you insane? I almost wanted to beat your ass for being such a... Don't get so worked up over a little teasing. You know me. I honestly don't care if this world goes to shit. Hell, I will be happily munching popcorn while watching the world burn. But you should seriously see your face just now. You were like so agitated when I went batshit insane about being self-righteous and all that. Ha ha ha. Naruto nursed his throbbing forehead. Ha ha fuck you. Toodaloo, motherfuck, the blonde had to shut off his mind after getting punked from douchebag Kurama. He should know better than to believe that his happy-go-lucky tenant has even a shred of compassion for the well-being of the world. Kurama was too jaded and apathetic to take anything seriously. Doctor. Hello? Earth to Naruto. Grail waved her hand in front of Naruto's dazed eyes. You're the one who reprimanded me about spacing out, but here you are, spacing out like a fool. Hello? Suddenly, Naruto's hand shot out and caught Grail's wrist, startling her in the process. Whoa! Can you not? I almost got a heart attack. Have you prepared the dosage of the magnesium sulfate? Grail rolled her eyes, her scowl was still plastered on her features. Yes. I'm not an amateur. Stop rolling your eyes. The blonde took the syringe from her grasp. It's impolite. Inspecting the needle, Naruto snuck a glance at Grail, who was scribbling down notes on her clipboard and recording data from the ECG. Jokes aside, I wasn't kidding when I said you're getting soft, because if she did become a monster, will you have the heart to put her down? Diana leaned into her leather chair, scrutinizing the pile of files scattered on her desk with frosty gaze. Pinching the bridge of her nose, she seized her glass of Macallan 55-year-old whiskey, gave it a weary sniff, and took an appreciative sip. The soothing melody of Martha Argerich's Beethoven Concerto No. 1 was playing from the speakers situated at the corner of Diana's tenebrous office, and the empowering music enhanced the fragrance and taste of her liquor. I am not in the mood to read through all these. Explain it to me briefly, Artemis. Make sure not to leave out the important bits. Artemis adjusted the tie of her suit and straightened herself. According to the report, Naruto Uzumaki appears out of nowhere 20 years ago. He was a Harvard graduate who went on to become a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army's Medical Corps. He was a field surgeon, serving the Navy SEALs for 8 years. After getting discharged from Army, he went to the Middle East, North Africa, and subsequently South Asia to be a rural doctor, helping and saving the unfortunate. Raising a curious brow, Diana chuckled. Did he preach the gospel while he was at it? No, he didn't, milady. Artemis cleared her throat, not really comprehending her mistress's attempt on cracking a joke. His work ethics and performance in the army were beyond excellent. He would have been the next Army Surgeon General if he didn't choose resignation. However, there is something suspicious and disconcerting about his records. The Princess of Themyscira raised a brow. Oh? How so? During his time in the army, he was dispatched to Afghanistan to rescue and treat wounded soldiers. However, in one of his many rescue missions, he and 4 of his men were ambushed by a squadron of Taliban troops. Uzumaki and his squad were trapped inside a tunnel. There was no way 5 measly soldiers can possibly take down 256 armed insurgents. Diana swirled her glass of vintage whiskey and crossed her slender legs. And? The reports were classified as top secret, but I managed to uncover some truth behind it. Apparently, there is a documentary from one of the soldiers sent to rescue Uzumaki and his squad. He said that upon their arrival to the battlefield, the desert was, and I quote, a graveyard of maimed corpses. Some of the soldiers who saw what happened suffered severe PTSD and were sent to mental asylums. Arching a curious brow, Diana gazed up at a bemused Artemis. Are you telling me he killed all 256 Taliban soldiers? According to the report, it is heavily implied that Uzumaki was the one who single-handedly slaughtered the insurgents with his bare hands. Bare hands? The princess was staring in disbelief at her assistant. Artemis nodded grimly. I found numerous reports of such bizarre incidents that are currently ushered into the Don't Ask section in the U.S. military's archives. The peculiar thing about this is that Uzumaki happens to be the center of it. Milady, do you think he is a metahuman? Stroking her chin, Diana frowned. Find out why he was discharged from army, what he did during his travels, and why did he return to Metropolis. Grabbing her Bentley's key fob, Diana stood up from her seat, stalked towards a petrified Artemis, and cupped her assistant's chin. Artemis felt vulnerable whenever her princess stared at her with her predatory, yet beautiful sapphire blue eyes. It was as if Diana was peering into her soul. I'll be back. Be sure to get me my regular Starbucks. You know I like it hot, right? Why yes, milady. Artemis's lips were trembling, and she was yearning to be touched by her mistress. Diana grinned before she strode past the bewildered Artemis. Some say God's wrath was scarier than a nuclear holocaust, because if he desired, he could make the monsters from Pacific Rim come to life and watch the beasts chomp down civilizations. If God is a fan of George Miller's work, he could even turn the world into a giant wasteland just to make Mad Max a reality, provided that he is a movie junkie. So, that comes down to one fundamental question: is God wrathful? Jim Corrigan could answer that question, because he was the Spectre, a persona of God's untamed rage, bequeathed with the power to annihilate all of creations if it was justifiable. In the day, he did God's work by saving people as a doctor, but when the sun fell behind the horizon, he did God's work by terminating evil as an executioner. Donned in a green cloak, Jim oversaw the skyline of Metropolis, a city that looked very much like a jungle of great monoliths that were built by glass and concrete. Taking a puff from his Cohiba cigar, Jim took in the night breeze and narrowed his eyes. What brings you here, stranger? The phantom stranger was someone nobody wanted to see in a night alley, because his top hat and eerie white eyes, coupled with his gruff voice that was deeper than Liam Neeson's, could intimidate even the A-team. Tipping his hat, the phantom stranger grinned. The usual business. I see that you are doing well, Spectre. Your presence always means trouble. Jim sighed. Surely you didn't come here on your own accord just to have a friendly chit-chat with me. The last time you come to me, I have to go to the Sudan and terminate a covert human trafficking operation. What does big man upstairs want this time? Clicking his tongue in disapproval, the phantom stranger shook his head. It seems to me that exercising your role as the Spectre has put a toll on you, no? Do you despise your job that much? Don't get me wrong, stranger. Any scumbag, any criminal, any rotten piece of junk that I put down, I didn't do it because it was my job. I did it because I like it. Jim exclaimed. Green fire were radiating from his eyes as he grinned darkly. Hell, I love it. I'll do it again if I have to. The phantom stranger let out a hollow chuckle. I'm glad that you like your job. I won't beat about the bush any longer than I should. The boss wants me to deliver a message to you. What is it? Back off. The embodiment of God's wrath furrowed his brows. What? He knows what you're trying to do with Naruto Uzumaki. He does not want you, or anybody for the matter, to interfere. Walk away from the chessboard while you still can. Walk away? Placing a hand on his hip, Jim took a puff from his cancer stick. A dangerous grin was formed on his features. Everybody is born to follow a script. I am destined to be the Spectre, as well as the CEO of Paragon Metropolis Hospital. You were destined to be a betrayer. We all are born with a purpose and nobody is to be left out from God's plan. But do you know what intrigued me, stranger? The phantom stranger was confused, so Jim elaborated, he has no plans for Naruto Uzumaki. It's like free play for the guy. The boss did not plan a destiny for him. He did not write a script for him. Hell, he did not even permit his residency in this universe from the get-go, because he does not belong here. Why is that so? I do not know, and I don't think we will even come close to know what goes in his mind, but one thing is for sure. Jim crossed his hands. Someone must tie a leash around Naruto Uzumaki's neck. He does not exist within the spectrum of the natural order, and his existence in this universe is causing frightening disruption in a global scale. He is changing people's fate unknowingly, tearing up the script that God has made for every one of us, and undoing his work, which begs the question, why hasn't God destroyed him? The phantom stranger shook his head. That is not up to us to know. Our duty. There is no us between you and me, Judas. Let's make one thing clear. Your duty is to tell the boss that there is a bogeyman living in the closet. That has always been your role. The Spectre tilted his head, a malicious smirk curled up at his lips. I'm the guy the boss hires to kill the bogeyman. Right now, Naruto Uzumaki is the bogeyman. Why are you so fascinated with Naruto Uzumaki? You were never like this to your targets before. Why now? Stop digging, stranger. Jim scowled. It's starting to piss me off. The phantom stranger shook his head. Perhaps the one who should be kept in check is you, Spectre. It was at that moment an overwhelming pressure slammed upon the phantom stranger's shoulders, almost sending him to his knees, but he withstood it. Have you lose anybody? People that you care about. People that you loved. The phantom stranger clenched his jaw, but didn't say anything. I guess not, so don't talk like you know me. Everybody lost someone. That doesn't give you the right to defy the Lord. The Spectre scoffed. Do you know why Naruto Uzumaki interests me so much? He is like me. A man who lost too much. A man who understood how unjust the world is. A man who is alone and confused. Like me, he possesses transcendental powers, yet he showed so much restraint. Like me, he chose to be a doctor, despite all the odds stacked against him. But do you know something? Thunderclouds from perdition swirled in the night sky, threatening to burst into an array of lightning. Jim glanced up, the intensity of his umbrage was matching the ferocity of the coming storm. He is one bad day away from becoming a monster like me. The phantom stranger growled. Spectre, if you go against his orders, you'll pay. Abruptly, Jim thrust his hand forward and did a choke-like gesture, as if imitating Darth Vader's infamous Force choke. The phantom stranger sank into his knees, clawing at his neck to pry off the Force to no avail. Do not threaten me, stranger. I will not kill Naruto Uzumaki. Where is the fun in that? No, I will manipulate him to do my bidding. I will make him my toy. If you dare interfere with my plans, I will make God's wrath look like Thanksgiving dinner compared to mine. Naruto wakes up every morning just to complete one simple routine, push-ups. He would be topless and sweaty as he performed 2 sets of 1,000 Bruce Lee's one-finger push-ups with a 120-kilogram barbell resting on his back. It was without a doubt that the blonde was built like a brick shithouse, with scars emblazoned on his body as if they were medals. Grail was a healthy woman, so she wouldn't let up the chance of watching Naruto do his thing, but she was anything but unproductive. Dressed in just her pajamas, she would sat on the couch with her Gibson classical guitar resting on her lap. She might be the daughter of a nefarious god, but it was her angelic voice that surprised Naruto. Till this day, if the blonde didn't know any better, he might mistook her voice for Mariah Carey's, because when she sang, he couldn't help but be amazed. The hypnotic sound of her guitar reverberated throughout the living room as Grail lost herself into the sweet strums of her music, playing Birdie's variant of Skinny Love in the warm morning ray. Come on, Skinny Love, just last a year. Pour a little salt, we were never here. My. staring at the sink of blood and crushed veneer. I tell my love to wreck it all. Cut out all the ropes and let me fall. My. Right in the moment this order's tall. And I told you to be patient, and I told you to be fine, and I told you to be balanced, and I told you to be kind. In the morning I'll be with you, but it will be a different kind. 'Cause I'll be holding all the tickets, and you'll be owning all the fines. Naruto completed his routine and let out a sigh of content. Seizing the towel on the coffee table, the blonde sat beside Grail and wiped his sweats. I see someone is up and early? Putting her guitar aside, Grail smiled. I don't sleep in. Not even on a Saturday? Did you even listen to Rebecca Black's song? The daughter of Darkseid rolled her eyes. I'm more into the classics. Naruto pinched Grail's nose playfully and chuckled. Did you check on the patient before you come down? Yeah. Her vitals are stable. She stretched her limbs and let out a yawn. Unlike you, I actually take my job very seriously. Grasping his chest, Naruto looked genuinely hurt. If Grail didn't know any better, she might think the blonde had graduated from Yale's School of Drama, not Harvard's medical school. How can you pick on me like that, Grail? I am your teacher. I'm the goddamn doctor of this clinic. You are my employee, yet I get treated like dog shit. My heart is aching so much. Grail punched Naruto's bicep and giggled. Go audition for a role in Hollywood, drama queen. I should, actually. The blonde stroked his chin, as if taking the idea seriously. Maybe I could be the next Indiana Jones. I have the looks, the muscles, and the charm to pull it off. More like landing a role in a reboot version of Brokeback Mountain. Naruto raised his fist, as if attempting to bonk her on the head. Do you want to die? Huh. Grail let out a cheery guffaw and a light-hearted chuckle escaped Naruto's lips. He enjoyed mornings like that. There were no worries and no weight on his shoulders, just bliss. All he needed now was a bowl of hot miso ramen and a cup of coffee, and he would be invigorated for the day. Folding his muscular arms, Naruto cleared his throat. He knew Grail was dedicated to be a doctor, but there was something he had always wanted to ask her. Why do you want to be a doctor, Grail? Taken aback by Naruto's sudden question, Grail blinked quizzically. What? Is it because I'm so awesome that it rubs off on you? You know why I want to be a doctor, Grail said, almost like a whisper as she tucked her hands behind her knee. Naruto leaned back into his seat and smiled sadly. Your mother's death is not your fault. You don't know that. Grail averted her gaze. I don't want to discuss about this. Running away from a problem is not going to solve anything. The daughter of Darkseid growled. I'm not running away. Don't you dare accuse me of that. Then answer my question. Why do you want to be a doctor? If I were a doctor like you, she wouldn't have died. Her eyes were bloodshot, but she stifled the urge to weep. She was done showing her vulnerability to anyone. It had been 6 years since her mother's tragic passing, but time didn't heal her wounds. For the sake of protecting her sanity, her pain got lessened, but it was never truly gone, leaving an emotional scar behind to remind her what she had been through and survived. In life, there were so many what-ifs to Grail. If only she could tell her beloved mother how much she loved her when she had the chance. If only she could be stronger and save her mother from their assailants. If only she could hear her mother nagging at her again about doing the laundry. And if only she could express how thankful she was to her mother for being there for her. But she knew better. There were no what-if. The blonde draped a hand over Grail's slender shoulders and pulled her close to him. Being a doctor is a blessing and a curse, Grail. We aren't gods. We can't save everybody. You were only 14 when that incident happened. She did what any mother would do for her child. I told myself that too. I tried not to blame myself. Grail took in a sharp breath and wiped a tear from her right eye. I told myself that if I were stronger, I could change things. I am strong now, but I still can't change the past. If my good-for-nothing father put in some effort to find me, Mom wouldn't have died. If I... Grail, Naruto interjected. If being a doctor is something that keeps you breathing, then by all means, go for it. But if you have lived your life blaming yourself like that, thinking about 1,000 what-ifs, you wouldn't be the compassionate, kind, and full of energy Grail that I know today. Instead of taking the compliment, Grail was frustrated. Do you have to make that point now? Yes. Naruto replied bluntly. Yes? Grail stared at him incredulously, offended by how lightly he was perceiving her plight. Your past is eating you, Grail. I don't want to see you miserable and ruining your life like that. Clenching her fists, Grail released a seething breath. I'm trying to take responsibility for my mom's death, and you think that will ruin my life? Naruto straightened himself. How do you want to take responsibility of your mom's death? Do you think the guy who sent those assassins after you and your mom will feel remorse after what happened? Do you want to catch that guy and force an apology out of his throat? Is that it? Yes. Grail gritted her teeth. That guy probably sleeps like a baby after doing such horrible things. I would know because I was once an assassin myself, Naruto said. But I told you before, didn't I? A sincere apology comes with appropriate compensation. Sorry is easy to say. Giving appropriate compensation is the tough part. People just don't like giving compensation, Grail. That's why I'm gonna find that guy responsible for everything. And what are you going to do after that? Grail turned to Naruto. Her eyes were burning with murderous rage. I'm going to kill him. The blonde looked away and let out a frustrated growl. The vengeful wrath in Grail's eyes were so similar to Sasuke's. He had seen firsthand what kind of damages such blind and unchecked wrath could inflict on a person. Sasuke went down a dark path of solitude, trying to avenge his deceased family at all costs, because the hope of acquiring vengeance was the reason why he had the strength to wake up every morning, but it turned him into a sociopath too. That's why I want to be a doctor, Naruto. That job is my saving grace. Saving people as a doctor is going to preserve my sanity when I slaughtered that bastard. In order to beat monsters, I have no choice but to be one too. Unexpectedly, Naruto responded without haste. Your mother will not want you to carry hatred in your heart, Grail. Grail scoffed. How can you assume what my mother wants for me? Because all sane parents would only want happiness for their children. That statement almost broke Grail's resolve, but in the midst of her frustration and anguish, she couldn't bring herself to agree to it. Don't tell me to forgive those bastards who killed my mother. Grail clenched her fists. I will never be able to do it. I'll kill that bastard for you, Naruto responded coldly. Will that be sufficient? Grail bit her lips. Naruto, Give me some time. I'll help you find the assholes responsible for this mess. I can't have people around me suffer like this. And I sure as hell don't want you to soil your hands like that. Naruto held Grail's soft hands and rubbed it affectionately. Let me help you carry some of your burden. Rolling her eyes, Grail looked solemnly at the blonde. You really are smart, aren't you? Do you think I'll give up just because you said things like that to me? You're smart too. I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to imply. Naruto placing a comforting hand on Grail's shoulder and said, Revenge, destruction, schemes. I'm not that type of person who would get caught up by something like that. I told you that I wasn't from this universe. I told you what happened to my family and friends back in my world. It's killing me not knowing what happened to my wife and unborn child, but I'm not going to fall into misery. I'm not going to give up eating, caring for others, or treating patients just because I met stumbling blocks in my life. Naruto felt as if his age had caught up to him, but he presented a brave and vibrant smile to Grail. Time is precious to me, Grail. And it is precious enough for me to cherish the things I did today. To me, I live my life telling myself that there's no tomorrow, because the world doesn't change for me or you. We could die tomorrow, that's why living at this moment is what matters. Your mother doesn't want you to live your life in constant misery. She would want you to be happy. But that's how I live. I know it takes time to let go of that anger, trust me for someone who knows, so I won't ask you to stop thinking about it, but remember this. Naruto ruffled her hair. I'll always be here to help you. What is hell? Some say everybody is living it. To Kara Zor-El, she concurred to that in a heartbeat, because she was forced to watch haplessly as her parents sacrificed their lives just to ensure she gets to live. If that wasn't hell, Kara didn't know what was, so when she woke up from an alluring voice that sounded like it was from an angel, she thought the nightmare she lived in was over. Kara found herself lying on a pine-framed bed. Climbing out of the bed, she shielded her eyes from the brilliant amber piercing through the casement window. Surveying her environment wearily, she noticed the bedroom was furnished with a meager budget, yet it carried a warmth that reminded her of home. It was then she realized that she just woke up to a nightmare called reality. Noticing the soothing song had abruptly halted, replaced by what seemed to be a heated argument between a man and a woman, Kara kept a vigilant gaze around her environment before she approached the doorknob. She was scared out of her wits and the flutters in her chest wouldn't stop, but she had to push through, so she pulled open the door and sauntered towards the commotion. When she reached the living room, she was greeted by a man with short, unkempt hair. Where am I? The blonde smiled. I'm glad that you're able to speak our language, given the fact that you're clearly not local. That makes things a whole lot easier. Anyway, this is my house. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, by the way. You are? Kara Zor-El. Is this planet by any chance called Krypton? Kara asked, even though she knew the answer. Krypton? Naruto arched a brow. Never heard of it. Kara collapsed into her knees and stared with wide eyes at the floor. Her world had just stopped moving and everything seemed to be falling apart. This is Earth. Judging by your reaction and the fact that you're not from around here, I would assume your world is gone. Naruto raked a hand through his messy golden hair and let out a sigh. I'm sorry. Balling her quavering fists, Kara glanced up and glared furiously at Naruto. Why you're sorry? What do you know about my pain? What do you know? Grail was startled by Kara's outburst, but Naruto was unfazed. He was calm, despite the lamenting blonde verbally abusing him with her native tongue. Plopping down beside the infuriated Kara, he crossed his legs and lifted his chin, offering her a gentle smile. It hurts, doesn't it? Not knowing what to do next. Not knowing why God cruelly take away the people you loved and cherished. Not knowing how to face all this. Naruto took in a deep breath. Believe me, I understand what you're going through. You didn't just lose your family and friends. You lost your norm of life. You lost the peace and bliss you share with those around you, and when everything is cruelly taken away from you, you blame yourself for not cherishing it more than you should when you have it. The reminiscence used to break Naruto, but his tears were all dried up. He was never a man of angst, so he could not tolerate being down. Besides, he didn't want Kurama to be sad because of him. I too lost many things, and like you, I lost my parents, my friends, the people I cared about, and even my world too. Everything is gone, and you suddenly find yourself alone and empty. Hot tears were streaming from Kara's eyes as she glanced up pleadingly at Naruto to stop. Clutching her chest, she let out a wail of despair, the agony in her heart suddenly became smothering, suffocating her and rendering her mortified. She was struggling to breathe, and in that moment, she hoped she wasn't. You just want everything to be over. You just want to die. The blonde smiled sorrowfully. The butterflies in your chest, the turmoil in your brain, and the tremendous weight on your shoulders, you just want them all to be gone. And then depressive questions started bombarding you. Why? Why must I suffer like this? Why must I go through so much pain? Why can't I stop hurting? Why me? Naruto pulled Kara to a tight embrace, brushing the back of her hair with gentle tenderness. She tried to hammer her fists at his back, desperately venting out her frustration, but her fatigue and despondence overwhelmed her senses. She slowly sank into his warm chest, sobbing harder and harder, screaming till her voice broke, and clenching her fists so tight she dug bloody trenches from her palm. I'm not going to tell you everything is going to be okay, because to you, it won't be. Naruto cooed into her ear. But I will promise you this. As long as I live, I won't let you suffer this pain alone. I won't let you go through what I went through. If you're unhappy, tell me and I'll cry with you till the sun rises. If you want a hug, I'll hold on to you until you fall asleep. If you want someone to talk to, I'll be more than happy to chat with you till the winter comes. Kara stifled her sobs, allowing the blonde to wipe the tears staining her reddened cheeks. Why? Why do you care so much? I'm nobody to you. Naruto shook his head and he offered her a bright smile. Loneliness is a terrible poverty that nobody should go through. I endured one too many to know what it's like to smile when I'm sad. That's why I don't want anybody to go through it, because that pain could drive anybody insane. I won't let you go through it, Kara. The Kryptonian stared blankly at the blonde. Don't make a girl a promise you can't keep. I never break a promise. Grail sighed heavily and squatted beside Kara. All that crying must have made you hungry. I'll bring you upstairs to get you washed up. In the meanwhile, Naruto can cook us breakfast. The blonde pouted. Oh? You're the big boss now? Stop bitching, Naruto. Grail chided, hoisting Kara to her feet. Go cook us some ramen before I get the squirrel from Ice Age to bite your nutsacks off. Naruto would have slapped Grail's forehead for her impudence if she wasn't carrying a distraught Kara. When the girls had left the living room, the blonde let out a chuckle and shook his head. His hands were on his waist. That girl would be the death of me. You are a death of me too. Shut up, Fluff. What? What did you just call me? Are you itching for a beating? Come down here and let me shove this lamp post up your. Shutting off communication. Naruto grinned. Don't you dare out. The blonde smiled and ambled to the kitchen. No matter what, tomorrow will be better. A red Bentley Continental GT pulled over right beside the porch of Naruto's countryside house. When the engine died down, Diana stepped out of her expensive convertible and removed her Prada sunglasses, gazing nonchalantly at the morning sun. As if on cue, the iPhone in her pocket started buzzing. She pulled the device out, took a brief glance at the caller ID, and picked up the call. Yes? After listening to what she was told, confusion was plastered on her beautiful features. You want me to kill Naruto Uzumaki? Naruto clicked his tongue in disgust, shaking his head and averting his gaze from the sight of Grail and Kara chomping down 5 bowls of Honey Nuts Cheerio, 6 bowls of chashu ramen, 8 plates of Egg Benedict, and 4 glasses of Hong Kong-style milk tea. Pinching the bridge of his nose, the blonde took a sip from his Americano and let out a grunt. If this keeps up, I'm gonna go broke very, very soon. Kara actually had the decency to blush, tidying her disheveled hair and wiping the blemishes from the edge of her lips as a mean to hide her lack of etiquette. Grail, on the other hand, stuck her tongue out at the blonde. Suck it up, Naruto. Now you have to deal with Kara and me. I almost felt sorry for you. Almost. Pinching the bridge of his nose, Naruto gazed at the cheeky Grail with eyes of disbelief. You do know that I'm the dictator of his household, right? I'm the tyrant Aladdin, this house is my Wadia, and you're... I'm Megan Fox? Oh wait. I'm Anna Faris. Grail pointed a finger at herself, her eyes sparkling with hope and glee. Right. Right. No. Naruto shuddered a little too obvious, demolishing Grail's pride in the process. You're the annoying assistant who never fails to get on my nerve. You. The blonde glanced at Kara and pointed a finger at her, who suddenly sat upright. Better don't learn all the bad habits from Grail. She's a bad influence. Grail protested. Don't make me look like a burden. Kara kept her hands tucked underneath her knees and fidgeted her thighs. I thought about it. I don't wish to impose. It will make me a freeloader or some sort, so... Naruto grinned and interjected. Don't worry, you ain't gonna freeload on us. You're gonna learn about how this world works, and how do you do that better than to have you work in my clinic as an assistant nurse? Grail has been my nurse for a very long time, so she'll show you the ropes. Apprehension and anxiousness were written on Kara's face as she snuck a peek at Grail, who was devouring her milk tea with vigor. The Kryptonian shifted her sight to Naruto and scratched her scalp. Nurse? See clinic? I don't quite understand. Are you some form of healer? The blonde blinked, his curiosity was piqued. Yeah, sort of. Don't you have doctors back in your world? We don't need doctors. Our civilization is well advanced enough to cure any diseases and illnesses with our machine. My father is the pioneer of biomedical technology. My mother is the architect and chief engineer for nanotechnology. Kara smiled sadly. In fact, that is how my parents met each other. The collaboration of their work led them to give birth to me. Naruto leaned against the kitchen counter. Then I guess your spaceship crashed at the right place. This world doesn't have some wonder machine that can cure all illnesses. This world needs doctors who can help save people. It'll humble you down a peg when you realize that there is no deus ex machina when it comes to saving lives. In this planet we are hope. It was at that moment the doorbell rang, startling them. Grail arched a brow and stared at Naruto. The clinic's opening hours hasn't started yet. Could be emergency. The blonde shrugged and ruffled his morning hair, which really looked like it got permed. I'll go get the door. Whoever was outside the door must really lack patience, because the doorbell kept ringing, much to Naruto's annoyance. Coming. Just stop pressing that damn thing. When he pulled open the door, he was taken aback by who was standing before him. You are. Diana narrowed her eyes. Her statuesque form was concealed by her crimson Hermes jacket draped over her shoulders. Her eyes whipped up and down, gazing with revulsion at the sight of Naruto's squalid form. His face was unshaved, his rumpled shirt was missing a few buttons, and his billabong board shorts were worn slapdash. Can I come in? Without waiting for a response, Diana strode past the befuddled Naruto and barged into the premise, much to his astonishment. Wait, I didn't say you can come in. What a cozy place you got in here. I actually checked the address twice when I reached your doorstep. I must applaud you for turning a rundown house into a place for medical practice. Inadequate, but it will suffice, I guess. Diana said sarcastically, surveying every crook and cranny of the home office setup with indifference. You're quite a famous chap, actually. The whole town talks about you. They said you would go the extra mile just to make sure your patients are safe and healthy. Very admirable indeed. Naruto narrowed his eyes and placed a hand on his hip. You sound as if you aren't convinced. Diana spun around, her billowy hair danced in the air and her arms crossed under her ample bosom. No, I'm not. I don't even believe if you're a legitimate doctor, but for the sake of my job, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Scratching his temples, Naruto raised a brow. You do know I have a medical license, right? Having a medical license and being a proper physician are two separate things. The brunette narrowed her eyes. If such a simple notion doesn't get through to you, then you are not fit to be a doctor. The blonde let out a yawn and dismissed the Amazonian princess with nonchalance, strolling past her as he dug his ear. If you're not here to see a doctor, then please leave. I really don't like receiving lectures, especially early in the morning when I haven't even brushed my teeth yet. At that, Diana's beautiful face was contorted with disgust. Do you even comprehend the importance of having basic hygiene? And you have the audacity to call yourself a doctor? Hey! Stop ignoring me! Are you listening to me? The brunette trailed after the blonde, who was ignoring her for the most part. Are you not going to stop walking? Suddenly, Naruto did a 180 spin and turned to Diana, catching her by surprise. Thanks to Diana's years of being a veteran warrior, she had garnered enough self-control to stop herself from yelping indignantly like a schoolgirl, retaining a placid composure hastily in the process like nothing had happened. Naruto, however, was no fool. He could perceive consternation and shock from her micro-expressions. You know, Naruto grinned a Cheshire smile, studying her ocean blue eyes keenly. Despite holding up a dragon lady exterior, I see a beautiful soul who sincerely wants to help the defenseless. You do volunteer work at homeless shelters, no? The blonde boldly leaned forward, earning him a satisfactory cry from Diana. What are you? Now that I managed to have a good look at you, I notice you look quite different in the morning and in the afternoon. Diana's posture was rigid, but she stood her ground firmly. And why is that? Naruto threw his hands behind his back and sucked in air. His impish grin was still tugged at his lips. The first time we met was a late afternoon, yeah? Now that the morning sun shines at your face, I can't help but notice that you look extraordinarily pretty. But in the afternoon, you're just awfully pretty. Why is that? I wonder. Diana's jaw was left unhinged, unsure of how she should respond to Naruto's shameless coquetry. Countless guys had attempted to court her due to her pulchritudinous qualities, but she had rejected them crudely. She was a physician, top in her field for her part, so it was safe for her to say that she understood what kind of perverse thoughts men were thinking. Men could propose their love to her one day, but on the very next day, they would change their mind, and the problem was that they were being brutally honest for both days. Her mother had warned her about the chauvinistic nature of men. They were flicker-minded creatures who only sought to sedate their lust, and it was something Diana could not fathom, but there was something abnormal about Naruto Uzumaki. She was cognizant of the fact that his light-hearted tease didn't imply his infatuation for her. By the gods, the mischief gleaming in his bright sapphire eyes and the warm smile he carried made her realize one thing. Naruto displayed a lackadaisical attitude towards life, but the benevolence in his eyes could only be acquired from overcoming tremendous hardship, and that was something she could respect. Shaking out of her thoughts, Diana delivered a swift slap across Naruto's face. Oh! What the hell is that for? The blonde looked at her incredulously, nursing his sore cheek while he was at it. That's for being a rotten bastard. Righteous fury was burning in Diana's eyes. She didn't know why ire was overwhelming her, but she regained enough of her senses to tidy her blouse and look dignified. Anyway. What's with all the fuss? Grail emerged from the kitchen, but dumbfounded when she locked eyes with an impassive Diana. Why you? Diana blinked. So, you live with this insufferable man? Much to Naruto's chagrin, Grail nodded sadly and her tone went dramatically down. Yeah, this man tortures me every day. The blonde gasped, almost let out a screech of dismay as he pointed a finger at the daughter of Darkseid. Does she look like a tortured soul to you? If anybody is being tortured in this house, it's me. I wake up every morning just to cook breakfast for her. I even wash her underwear sometimes. Me. Dr. Uzumaki of the Great Uzumaki Clinic is washing someone's friggin' underwear. Heh. What a loser. Shut the fuck. Diana quirked a grin. So, what are you to him? Me? Grail pointed a finger at herself. Well, I'm his. She's my little sister. Naruto rested his elbow atop Grail's head, who pouted infuriatedly. Kara took that moment to amble into the living room in her bunny slippers, surprising Diana. And she is? Oh. The blonde grinned, improvising a white lie effortlessly as he jabbed with his thumb at Kara's direction. He threw his hand over the Kryptonian's slender shoulders and pulled her close to his chest. Kara didn't know why her heart was racing, but she kept her gaze demurely down at her toes. I have two sisters. This one just came back from Sweden. Grail rolled her eyes. I take it that you're not here to see a doctor, since you are one yourself, so why are you here? Diana flipped her hair gracefully to the back of her shoulder, pulled a nearby chair, and took a seat. Her authoritative pose and the gravitas she emanated made her a force to be reckoned with, at least for Grail and Kara, but Naruto simply beamed at her, unaffected by her domineering aura. I am here to get Dr. Uzumaki to join Paragon Metropolis Hospital. Please bear in mind that this is the third time in the entire history of our hospital that we actively seek out doctors to recruit, so be honored that I'm doing this. Grail cocked a brow. Oh? So who are the unfortunate souls who got recruited actively by your hospital? I can't disclose to you who the first were, but I happen to be the second unfortunate soul who got recruited by the hospital. The daughter of Darkseid looked away sheepishly. I thought I made myself perfectly clear to your boss, didn't I? Naruto interjected. I'm not joining your hospital. Diana shook her head, took out a file from her Fendi bag, and dropped it on the table. This is a scholarship application form done by our hospital. I'm sure you have heard of our Paragon Scholarship Program, right, Miss Grail? Why, yes. Grail nodded weakly. It's a prestigious scholarship that is awarded to only 10 students every year. Yes. Diana grinned. We are willing to award the scholarship to you, if your big brother is willing to join our ranks. Naruto nursed his forehead and sighed. That is plain dirty. Are you still adamant about refusing our offer? Diana supplied. No matter how stubborn you are, you can't possibly reject a chance for your sister to study in Harvard without caring for her tuition fees. Furthermore, this scholarship grants her the opportunity to land a job in our hospital. If she achieves distinction in her coursework, she will be able to enter into any residency program without competing with others. It sounded too good to be true, and according to Naruto's philosophy, there was no such thing as free lunch in this world. Folding his arms, Naruto smacked his lips, tilted his head, and narrowed his eyes. What's the catch? Why does your boss want me to work for your hospital so much? You have a decent resume, Diana answered. Is that it? The blonde was skeptical. I'm sure there are plenty of doctors out there who have decent resume too. Why me? You were a Harvard graduate, a former lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Medical Corps, a volunteer doctor in rural countries, and a current general practitioner in the outskirts of Metropolis. I have done my homework. You gave a hefty sum of subsidies for the poor and elderly who come and visit you. If that isn't considered an impressive resume, I don't know what is. Diana smiled. So, what do you think? I see no reason why you would incur any losses if you join us. Don't get fooled by the wench. Her boss is the one you should look out for. You still haven't told me what or who that man is. They call him the Spectre. He ain't Daniel Craig, but he is a primordial force of nature, created by God to be the apparition of his holy wrath. Sounds very biblical, I know, but it is the truth. The Spectre is given the power and right to go all Old Testament on all creations if he wants to. He has enough power to rival you. No, he could even be more powerful than you. Hard to say really. It's not really an apple-to-apple comparison. Naruto let out a frustrated grunt and sighed. But I can't just say no to her when she could offer Grail a better education. I can't be selfish like that. If a better education for Grail can possibly divert her rage to something else, I have to try it. You're really going to be the death of us, Naruto. This is a straight-up trap, schemed by the Spectre to keep you monitored 24/7. If you go along with it, he's gonna play Big Brother on you like a perv. You okay with that? The blonde smiled. If it's for Grail's future, I'll do it. Naruto. Naruto coughed into his hand. I'll only go along with your shenanigan under one condition. Kurama sighed aloud and shook his snout. #S out for Spectre. Oh? Diana raised a brow, a triumphant smile graced her lips. What is it? CIA's Deputy Director Amanda Waller sliced her medium-rare steak apart and brought the meat into her mouth. Wiping her lips with the napkin, she surveyed the posh restaurant that was furnished with ornate decor, but was devoid of patrons. The entourage of Secret Service agents guarding every possible entrance to the premise didn't count. Taking a glimpse of her Cartier watch, she clicked her tongue in annoyance. He's 10 minutes late. As usual. As if on cue, the oaken door swung open, allowing a platoon of soldiers from Delta Force to march in. Lieutenant General Samuel Lane strolled into the Holt restaurant with a Monte Cristo cigar in his mouth and a permanent scowl on his face. He took a beeline towards the CIA executive and sat on his seat, not bothering to exchange any pleasantry. What is it you want, Waller? I hope you didn't drag me out here just to waste my time. I can assure you I won't. Amanda narrowed her eyes but kept her cool. The Secretary of Defense is restless, Lane. Project Beauty and the Beast is supposed to be completed last month. This is way past its due date. I'm afraid the Secretary of Defense can't keep our little project a secret for long. If the President demands, we might have to disclose all the confidential files regarding the project. The General crossed his arms. My daughter was in a coma when she became the subject of the experiment. She needs time. I know that, you know that, but do you think the Secretary of Defense cares? Waller growled. My subjects have already finished the last trial of their experiments. You are dragging us down, Lane. At that, the infuriated general slammed a hand on the table, alarming the Secret Service agents. Don't you dare talk crap to me, Waller. The only reason I agreed to this partnership is because it is the only way to save my daughter. Do you think I'm hyped to know that turning my daughter Lucy into a monster is the only way for her to live? The cutthroat government agent grinned. The aim of this project is to defend our world from monsters. And to do that, we need monsters on our sides. Major Lucy Lane was supposed to be KI during her tour in Iraq. Not only will the outcome of this project grant your daughter a second chance to live, but it will make her a superwoman. We need powerhouse like that in our arsenal to combat against extraterrestrial threats. Threats that are not intimidated by an AH-46 Apache helicopter or AM-109 Paladin howitzer. Hell, I don't even know if the threats are even incapable of being intimidated. Samuel raised a brow. Threats? You mean ex-Lieutenant Colonel Naruto Uzumaki? Oh, he is more than just a threat. Amanda poked her prime beef with her fork and glared at the general. There were many unnatural encounters during Lieutenant Colonel Uzumaki's stay as a medical officer in Afghanistan. His infamous battle against the Taliban was terrifying enough that the president has to personally interfere with the matter. One of the soldiers who were trapped alongside Lieutenant Colonel Uzumaki was my daughter. The general gritted his teeth as he completed Amanda's statement. Is this the reason why my daughter is chosen to be one of the lab rat for your experiment? The CIA deputy director wagged a disapproving finger at Samuel, further fueling his chagrin. Not exactly. You see, everybody has a weakness. You could be the president of Russia or a monk from Tibet, regardless, everybody has a weakness. My job is to leverage on that weakness. It is to my understanding that Major Lucy Lane had a secret affair with Lieutenant Colonel Uzumaki. Samuel widened his eyes in dismay, comprehending the extent of his dilemma. No! Impossible! My daughter. Your daughter shall be the key to our victory, Lieutenant General. Amanda barked, silencing the furious veteran. Our country's safety and well-being should always be your first priority. You of all people must know that. We don't have the luxury to stay idle and do nothing against a looming threat that could possibly devastate our world. Need I remind you that we have a greater responsibility, General? Lieutenant Colonel Naruto Uzumaki is the most dangerous man in this planet. His powers are beyond comprehension. If we don't strike when the iron is hot, we'll never win. You want to use Lucy to get to that thing? Amanda nodded, a remorseless and cruel smile plastered on her features. Now do you understand why the project is called Beauty and the Beast? Kara was lost. She couldn't fathom how Grail was able to pick up incessant calls, tend to anxious patients' needs, escort patients to the doctor's room, aid the doctor with mundane chores, and prescribe medication without hitching her breath. Grail was all over the clinic, yet her movements were fluid and graceful, as if she was dancing the ballet. Tying her hair into a bun, Kara straightened herself and greeted an elderly woman with a cheery, albeit uneasy smile. Gee, good morning. Welcome to Uzumaki Clinic. How can we help you today? Who are you? Where is Miss Grail? The elderly woman asked crudely, much to Kara's apprehension. Grail poked her head from the doctor's office and beamed at the elderly woman. Madame Hernandez? What brings you here? The identified Madame Hernandez grinned at the jubilant Grail and lifted a basket of oranges. This is for you and Dr. Uzumaki. What? Grail skipped towards the Hispanic woman and waved her head heatedly. We can't accept this. Take it! Madame Hernandez yelled, startling Kara, who mistook the woman's gratefulness for rage. If it weren't for you and Dr. Uzumaki, my grandson would not have survived his fever. You two spent 3 days, 3 nights attending to my poor nieto. I can't even imagine what would happen if the two of you don't live in this town. Please take it. This is just a small token. Grail scratched the back of her head and giggled. Okay. I'll keep it, but that's only because you insist. I chose the best oranges from my farm, Miss Grail. You and Dr. Uzumaki must try it. The Hispanic woman seized Grail's hand, handed the basket to her, and gave her hand a light squeeze, bowing politely while she was at it. I didn't have the opportunity to express how grateful my family are. If you and Dr. Uzumaki wants the best oranges, just come to me. I'll give you a whole basket for free. You're too kind. Grail smiled softly. The Hispanic woman turned to Kara and stared curiously at the Kryptonian. She is? Oh. Throwing her hand over Kara's shoulders, Grail grinned at the elderly woman. This is Kara. She's my long-lost sister. Today is her first day helping out in the clinic. Good thing though. I won't need to be a one-woman army around here with her around. Oh. I see. Madame Hernandez smiled at Kara. You are just as beautiful as your sister. The Kryptonian only chuckled and kept her gaze fixated at her toes. I won't bother you seeing patients. Take care of yourself, Miss Grail. And you too, Miss Kara. I'll see you out. Grail beamed and walked the Hispanic woman out of the clinic. After waving her goodbyes at Madame Hernandez, Grail strolled back briskly to Kara and tilted her chin at the basket of oranges resting on the floor. Keep some oranges in the fridge and store the rest into the storeroom. We'll be distributing it to the local orphanages next Sunday. Kara nodded with a melancholy expression gracing her face and brought the basket into the pantry. Grail shook her head and pinched the bridge of her nose. She empathized with Kara. Just like the dreary Kryptonian, Grail was lost and depressed on her first day of work in the clinic. Her mind was only bombarded by the painful image of her deceased mother. In her doleful episode of self-loathing and despondence, the cheery Naruto was always there for her. When her thoughts were bleak, Naruto would bring her out for ramen. When she was mournful, Naruto would stay by her side and let her weep into his chest. When she was mortified by her nightmare, Naruto would hug her to sleep, almost like a lover would. Naruto was her happiness, her miracle, and the reason why she could climb out of the abyssal pit of poignancy. She didn't even know what to do if the ever-loving and bodacious blonde wasn't there by her side. Grail could comprehend what Kara was going through, and she would be damned to let her suffer the way she did. When Kara walked out from the bowel of the pantry, Grail pulled her into her embrace, startling the weary Kryptonian. What are you? It is okay, Kara. The daughter of Darkseid patted Kara's back kindly. I know you're scared. You find yourself lost in a new environment. You didn't know how to fit in. You want out, but you don't know where to start. I want you to know this. Grail pushed the Kryptonian gently and smiled cheerfully at her. If you're sad, I want you to come to me or Naruto. Don't bottle everything inside your heart, got it? Kara blinked. Your eyes are meant to shed tears, so don't suppress it. It's unhealthy. You want to have a good cry, I'll cry with you. The Kryptonian looked away. Do I look that sad to you? It doesn't matter if your sadness is conspicuous or not. You're my sister now, and we're living under one roof. You're family to me. And I hate it when my family is hurt or upset. Grail grinned and clicked her teeth. Besides, if you're not 1% focused in the game, you're bound to mess up in your work. We are the doctor's assistants. We can't afford to mess up. One silly mistake might cost someone's life. Kara cocked an eyebrow, noticing Grail's tone was awfully somber. Did something happen? The daughter of Darkseid shook her head. I did something that I could not forgive myself, not till this day. Heaving a heavy sigh, Grail elaborated. 3 years ago, I was just a stupid brat. I was lazy, rebellious, and very much like Rachel McAdams from Mean Girls, not that you have watched that movie. We should watch that movie together someday. Anyway, I found working in the clinic tedious. I started whining. I even had an argument with Naruto about it. So, when Naruto prescribed dextromethorphan for a mother of 2, I carelessly gave the mother benzonatate. Perplexed about the foreign drug terms, Kara scratched her temples. Dextromethorphan and benzonatate are both prescribed as cough medication. Grail clenched her quavering fist and took in a deep breath. I thought nothing of it and gave the mother benzonatate. I didn't know she has severe allergies to paraminobenzoic acid, which is one of the major compounds within benzentate. She went into cardiac arrest right after consuming the tablets. Kara brought her hand to her lips and gasped. Did she? Fortunately, no. Grail smiled sadly. Naruto saved her and managed to make her regurgitate the drug. Truth is, I almost killed a mother of 2 small children. Do you understand now, Kara? My stupidity and ignorance almost cost 2 innocent children their precious mother. Naruto slapped me out of my senses, quite literally, but it was a good wake-up call for me. I won't be able to forgive myself for the rest of my life if something were to happen to the mother. From that day onwards, I swore never to commit any more mistakes. Placing a comforting hand on Kara's shoulders, Grail winked. That's enough bedtime story for today. We still have some patients to tend to, but I'll cut you some slack for today. Go to the doctor's office and assist him. Naruto never dressed like how a doctor should, bringing sexy back with his black tank top and blue jeans. All he lacked was having Justin Timberlake singing 24/7 in the background. Removing the disc-shaped resonator from the elderly man's chest, Naruto hung his stethoscope around his neck and smiled warmly at the patient. "You should have come to me earlier for your migraine, Mr. Seinfeld. I'll prescribe you some ibuprofen and I want you to come back to me if the pain persists." It was at that moment Kara walked into office, gazing quizzically at them. Grail wanted me to assist you, Naruto." The blonde beamed. "Good, can you write down our clinic's telephone number on a piece of paper and give it to Mr. Seinfeld? He has presbyopia, so he'll find it hard to read things without reading glasses. Be sure to write it in big fonts, yeah?" Kara nodded, scribbling down furiously on her notepad. She tore the piece of paper with the clinic's telephone number written on it and handed it to Mr. Seinfeld. "You are so thoughtful, Dr. Uzumaki." The elderly patient smiled nervously. "Doctor, can I get more medicine for my high blood pressure? I'm running out of it." Typing down the request into his computer, Naruto nodded with a gentle smile and placed an assuring hand on the patient's shoulder. "Of course. I was waiting for you to come back to me to get more medication. Do you still drink alcohol?" At that, Mr. Seinfeld looked sheepishly away. "Mr. Seinfeld, I'm your doctor, not your nanny," Naruto chided. "At your current state, taking alcohol will interfere with the reactivity and function of your medicine. How many times must I tell you not to drink anymore?" "It was only just a few sips." "A few sips could be deadly too," the blonde reprimanded. Mr. Seinfeld let out a heavy sigh. He was born a farmer, barely educated, but had a heart of gold. He was the type of man who would distribute bags of produce to the needy for charity. He was a widow too. His wife left him a decade ago. They didn't have kids, so he was very much alone. "Doctor, I know you mean well, but I'm old now. It doesn't matter to me if I die today or next week. I just..." Naruto stared grimly at his desk, comprehending the elderly man's perspective. A warm smile curled at his lips as his demeanor changed. "There are still people who cares for you, Mr. Seinfeld. How about this? Once your health is getting better, I'll treat you to dinner and some Jim Beam, yeah? You promise?" The elderly man looked hopeful. "I never break a promise. Have a good day, Mr. Seinfeld." Naruto chuckled as his frail patient gave him a nod of gratitude. The blonde gestured Kara to escort the patient out of his office, beaming lightheartedly as the Kryptonian scrambled her way to elderly man's side. Kara gently lifted the patient's arm, hoisting him to a standing position with tender care, and walked him out of the office. When she returned into the office, the Kryptonian raised a brow and tilted her head. "I don't understand. Didn't you proclaim to him that alcohol will be detrimental to his health, yet you are offering him alcohol? I don't understand the paradox." Naruto smiled. Being a doctor is not all about saving patients or curing diseases. We must never forget that the quality of life for our patient is important too. Mr. Seinfeld has nobody to talk to at home. His wife passed away 9 years ago. They didn't have kids because his wife was sterile, so when his wife died from stage 4 breast cancer, he had no reason to live anymore. Yes, it is true that alcohol is not something he should take, but if it can make him a little happier, after his health improves, I guess a little sip won't kill. Hugging her notepad to her chest, Kara blinked, trying to avoid staring at Naruto's bulging biceps. "So alcohol substance is a form of stress relief for Mr. Seinfeld?" "In a sense, yes. I can't totally blame him for it, but he is a good man, so I don't really want to see his health deteriorated because of it. It's complicated, I'll teach you next time." Naruto grinned. "So, how is your first day at work? Are you coping well?" "Yes." The Kryptonian smiled weakly. "Grail has been very kind to me." "Heh." The blonde chuckled. "I'm glad to know that Runt isn't bullying you." "No, no!" Kara shook her head fervently. "Grail has been very nice to me. She even told me to open up to her if I'm unhappy. Really like her." Naruto flashed a thumbs up to Kara, who was actually puzzled by the hand sign. Noticing her confusion at his gesture, Naruto let out a jovial chuckle. "This means good in Earth language." The blonde turned to his computer and typed the prescription into his database, only to realize that the Kryptonian was staring at him rather intensely. He shifted his attention to her and gave her attire an appraising look, but his gaze swiftly went up to meet hers. "You look like you have something to say. Fire away." Kara chewed her lower lip and fidgeted a bit. "Why are you trying to make me fit in? Can't we expose ourselves to them? I'm sure we can do some good for them." Grail took that opportunity to interrupt, scoffing with stifled exasperation at Kara's naivety. "Stephen Hawking once said that if aliens were to visit us, the outcome would most probably be similar to how Columbus landed in America. Look how it turned out for the natives American. Since you're not familiar with the history of this country, I'll break it down to you. Humans would be afraid of you, Kara, as would they be afraid of me and Naruto. We are far too powerful for their comprehension. They would perceive us as threats. But there is no but, Kara, Grail bellowed, surprising Naruto and petrifying Kara in the process. You mustn't tell them our secrets. The human mind is fragile, easily tempted by fear and delusion, easily warped by anger and confusion. My mother. Enough. Naruto stood up from his seat, sauntered to Grail, and wrapped his arms around the trembling girl. Kara, humans are not ready for us. But you saved people's lives, Kara reasoned. Surely they can see that side of you. The blonde chuckled. It doesn't matter how many lives I saved. It doesn't change the fact that we are different. Let's drop this matter and focus on what's important. I see that you don't really have your own wardrobe. Let's go shopping. After that, we can go grab ourselves some ice cream. I know this shop that sells awesome ice cream. It's something you should definitely try. Kara raised a brow. Ice cream? Grail pushed herself away from Naruto and smiled, albeit weakly, at the Kryptonian. Yeah, let's. It was then an unfamiliar voice intruded the conversation. Are you Dr. Naruto Uzumaki? The trio turned their attention to the office's doorway, only to encounter a beautiful woman whose stunning look could grace any magazine cover, but was in a Roman gladiator getup. Naruto narrowed his eyes with piqued curiosity, amused by the sight of what seemed to be the splitting image of grumpy and hot Diana, but this one seemed to have a fetish with kinky dress-up. Whoa! This one is sending out danger signals at us, Kurama commented. Do you think she is Diana's sister? Meh, I don't want to find out. She sauntered confidently towards Naruto. Her hawk-like eyes were filled with unwavering conviction and her head held high, as if regarding others beneath her attention. Unsheathing the sword stashed behind her back, she stood a good arm-length distance before the unfazed blonde, glaring with the ferocity of a tiger at her target. Do I need to repeat myself? Are you Dr. Naruto Uzumaki? Naruto shrugged. Who's asking? I will take that as a yes. The woman grinned. I am Donna Troy of Themyscira. Your end is now. Perceiving the bloodlust radiating from the Amazonian, Grail's eyes were blazing in fire, but Naruto had squashed the tension with a light-hearted chuckle. I'm sorry if my assistant forgot to book you for an appointment. Are you here to see a doctor? Donna blinked. Technically, yes. Naruto turned sharply to Grail and chided. How could you forget about our patient's appointment? Huh! What did I tell you about being attentive to your work? But the confused daughter of Darkseid pointed a finger at the equally confused Amazonian. She is trying to. Kara. The blonde smiled. We're going shopping after I see our last patient of the day. Even Kara detected the hostility reeking from Donna, so she was unsure if Naruto was oblivious of the looming threat, or was he playing. I see that you're wearing a costume. Naruto's eyes went up and down, scanning Donna's outfit with a Cheshire grin. Did you attend a party last night? Too much to drink, I suppose? In a haste, Diana bolted into the room. Panic and consternation was splashed on her beautiful face. Donna, no! Donna gritted her teeth, her fists were balled till her knuckles went white. Her expression went dark as she glanced vehemently at the astonished blonde, who had not once exuded even a tiniest trace of fear. Shaking her head, she raised her sword and let out a war cry. I'll claim your head and present it as a trophy to Mother. Then, and only then, will I be the worthy daughter. Is this Shakespeare? Naruto asked, scratched his temples. Are we practicing a play that I'm not aware of? Grail palmed her forehead. Don't you get it, Naruto? She's. Without hesitation, Donna blitzed forward, her murderous intent flooding the room, petrifying Kara and Grail in the process. The deranged Amazonian was about to swing her sword, despite Diana's vociferation and protest, but as she fixated her intense gaze at her blonde, she was unnerved. Naruto still had not expressed any fear in his eyes. He merely smiled placidly at Donna, as if not caring about his inevitable demise. Letting out a roar, Donna brought her sword upon the unfazed Naruto. Three things happened immediately. They were no longer in their office, but on a coastal meadow somewhere in the east coast of Brazil. Naruto caught the cold hard steel of Donna's sword between his index and middle fingers. The gentle sea breeze that brushed across their skin and the heat of the scorching sun were real. How? Diana gasped, staring in wonder and befuddlement at the ocean sparkling under the bright afternoon sun in Rio Grande do Norte. One moment, she was in the clinic, fearing the inevitable, and suddenly, she was standing on a plain of soft sand, overseeing the perfect scenery for a summer vacation. By the gods! What sorcery is this? How did we? Clicking his tongue, Naruto shook his head. I don't approve of needless violence, Miss Donna. And I definitely don't appreciate the fact that you were about to destroy my office in your reckless attempt to kill me. Do you know how long it took for me to build my office? Back in Naruto's mind, Kurama was jumping in joy, licking his teeth anxiously for a good fight. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I've been waiting to kick ass for God knows how long. Fight Club 101, you don't ever talk about it. Let's go all Rocky Balboa on these bitches. Donna tried to pry her sword off Naruto's grasp, but the damn thing just won't move. It was as if her sword was wedged firmly by a fixture. Growling in frustration, the Amazonian spat. What are you? Naruto shrugged. I'm just a doctor. Letting his grip loose on the sword, Naruto sighed as Donna flew a good distance away from him. I'll be nice and give you a chance to explain yourself. Why are you attacking me? Does it matter? The Amazonian felt her hands trembling. Assuming you are my to-be murderer, I should at least know why my death is warranted, no? The gods demand it. Diana was the one who answered. She stared grimly at the blonde, conflicted by turmoil. She, too, didn't agree with her mother's abrupt and ruthless command. The Queen of Themyscira has demanded explicitly the death of Naruto Uzumaki. There were no justification, no explanation, and no basis to the order. It was true that Diana was born to lead her people, bestowed upon the gods of Olympus with tremendous powers. However, combat wasn't everything to her. She despised the life of a warrior, despite the fact that she was good at killing. Really good actually, but that wasn't the life she wanted. She felt empty, even when her fellow sisters eulogized her unrivaled strength and worshipped the path she walked. But when she saved lives, she felt a thrill like never before. When she saw the smile of gratitude from the parents of a boy she saved, when the wife of a husband who met a horrible accident thanked her in sobs, when she resuscitated an infant girl from cardiac arrest, she felt alive. For once, she knew very clear the purpose of her life was. She wanted to help people like that, so when her mother wanted her to execute a man she knew nothing about, it didn't sit quite well with her. Naruto glanced up, disgust and frustration were contorted on his features. Ah, those pesky things with their superiority complex. I never really liked them in the first place. The blonde shook his head, his warm blue eyes that were filled with life were illuminating a dangerous blue, and he turned his attention to Donna. You are merely a pawn, but I will not pity you. Sympathy is not what you need. You deserve my respect, warrior. A column of white energy crashed upon Naruto, sending the earth in a trembling mess. If the magnitude 5.8 earthquake wasn't frightening enough, the thunderclouds in the air were a swirling vortex, as if hell was finally on earth. Diana and Donna were stupefied by the sheer power expelled from Naruto, who was harnessing tremendous energy from the heavens and the earth. Lightning bombarded the sea, evoking a series of deafening explosions that shook the meadow to its core. Fire and brimstone rose from the cracks of the moist soil, allowing gushes of geysers to burst from the depths of the planet. The tremors could be felt from a 10-mile radius. The cataclysmic disasters only grew in intensity as Naruto unsealed his powers. A ring of black spheres hovered behind his back as the apparition of a colossal beast manifested in the air. It was confounding, yet frightening to the Amazonians. How could someone who possessed transcendental powers, and possibly smite them effortlessly, smiled at them like an angel? How could they feel intimidated and comforted at the same time? It was nerve-wracking and downright confusing. Diana's jaw was unhinged as she stared at the phenomenon unfolding before her. What have you done, sister? Grail looked up at the dark sky in terror, grasping Kara's shoulders while she was at it. We need to go. Now. What? Naruto goes apeshit insane when he fights. If you don't want your ass to get cooked, you shut your mouth and come with me. The daughter of Darkseid wasted no time to carry Kara bridal style and sword in lightning speed away from the imminent battlefield. With a flick of his wrist, the thick air and overwhelming pressure that pervaded the area were dissipated. Naruto tilted his head, his charming and gentle smile was still tugging at his lips as he beckoned Donna to administer the first strike. Pardon my theatrics and the sudden bad weather. I don't think verbal persuasion is going to stop you from attacking me, so I won't bother to try. Come at me with all you got. In return, I will go all out on you. Diana pulled her impulsive sister aside and growled. Don't do it, Donna. I don't want to hear this from you, sister. You're just holding me back because you don't want me to succeed. You've always been trying to stunt my growth. No. How could you say that? Hurt flashed across Diana's eyes as she stood before her mad sister. Can't you see it? There's a reason why the gods want him dead. He's dangerous. We need to think this through. I will have his head. If you're not with me, then move aside. Dana shoved her sister violently away and lunged at a smiling Naruto. Jim Corrigan stood atop a cliff, overseeing the commotion with stifled glee. He couldn't even contain his excitement, and he would have laughed aloud if Ares didn't choose to show up at that very moment. He checked his Patek Philippe wristwatch, pleased that his accomplice was right on time. You have fulfilled the end of your bargain, God of War. I have longed for this. Ares, in his black armor, stood proud and tall. She is a bastard child of Zeus, unfit to ascend to godhood. I will not allow it. If you hadn't proposed this plan to me, I would have struck that wench down myself and make her my slave. Don't get carried away, Ares. Jim grinned, his eyes glowing a dangerous green. You may be war, but I am the specter. You feed on conflicts, injustice, and battles, but I erase them. If it weren't for my plans, I would have raised Olympus. Ares scoffed. I could care less about Olympus. Do what you want with it. I am merely here to prevent the prophecy from happening. Naruto Uzumaki is a cosmic threat, something in which Zeus has emphasized far too often. I have seen Naruto's battle capability. It excites me to know how powerful he is and what chaos he could bring about to this world. He is the perfect tool for me to get rid of that wench. Jim rolled his eyes. You never strike me as a coward, Ares, but I'm starting to have a change of opinion. You are afraid that one day Diana would take your place as goddess of war, huh? She will never take my place. The infuriated god of war seethed. I won't let it. After she's gone, I'll lay waste to the Amazon. Careful there, Ares. The specter chuckled, his sinister voice reverberated in the air. Diana is, after all, my employee. Unlike your good-for-nothing father who think he's Deuce Bigelow, I actually do see Diana as my own daughter. You, on the other hand, were on my naughty list for quite some time now, Ares. If you weren't any use to me, I might smite you just on basic principle. Do not tempt me. At that, Ares calmed down. He might be powerful, but he was not foolish enough to challenge the specter to a duel. The god of war knew that it would take more than a World War III to amass enough power to rival that of the specter's inconceivable might, and that was assuming if he could conjure that much power in the first place. However, the specter wasn't feared for his insurmountable strength, but his Machiavellianism. He said no more and watched as Dana charged at Naruto. Show me what you're capable of, Naruto Uzumaki. Wait. Naruto held up a hand, stopping Dana in her tracks. Hold up. What is it? Are you afraid now? A sinister grin curled up at Dana's pink lips. I just feel we're lacking some ambience. With a snap of his fingers, Elvis's Jailhouse Rock started playing from nowhere, startling the Amazonians. Naruto was grooving to the song. His cheeky smile only served to infuriate Dana. Let's rock, everybody, let's rock! Naruto sidestepped a roundhouse kick delivered dexterously by Dana, who followed up with a low spinning sweep. The blonde casually danced his way out of danger, skipping around the furious Amazon, who was swinging her blade haphazardly. Letting out a frustrated growl, Dana gracefully leaped to the air, twisted her body in midair, and launched a stunning butterfly kick that knocked the blonde a few feet away. Without hesitation, Dana regained her momentum, threw herself at the disorientated Naruto, and attempted to behead him with her hoisted blade. Rearing his fist, Naruto channeled his transcendental chakra into his appendage, empowering his attack in the process. Evading Dana's assault, Naruto thrust his fist with so much force that the speed of his punch broke the sound barrier, causing deafening shockwaves to erupt. Like Moses splitting the Red Sea, the ungodly impact generated from Naruto's punch had cleaved the ocean in half. Diana was frightened when she witnessed the rippling shockwaves had obliterated faraway mountains and left an abyssal trench in the coast. Dana swallowed her saliva in consternation. Her body trembled uncontrollably as she turned to Naruto's fist, which was inches away from her cheek. I missed that shot. I won't miss it again. Stand down, Dana. Never. This is madness, sister, Diana protested. You have seen what he can do. Letting out a deranged war cry, Dana swung her sword in an attempt to eviscerate the blonde, only for him to leap to the sky. Hovering in the air and gazing condescendingly down at the Amazonians, Naruto hoisted his hand. Oh, I can do much more. You two watched Skating with the Stars before? Never mind, I'll bring it live for you. Hayatan, Sankai Hyoketsu. Ice release, freeze the three world. Cool mist was expelled from Naruto's mouth before the entire east coast of Brazil, as well as the raging tsunami stirring from the ocean, became a vast realm of frozen tundra. Diana and Dana didn't even have the opportunity to register their predicament, or even utter out their horror when they were crystallized into ice sculptures, as if crafted by the White Witch of Narnia. Clicking his tongue in disapproval, Naruto shook his head and descended upon the pristine desert of white ice. Glancing at the sky, Naruto gave an annoyed growl and an astonished Kara a thumb up. As if on cue, Dana shattered her ice prison and bolted at the insouciant blonde with reinvigorated rage. Not paying attention to the aggravated Amazonian, Naruto shielded himself from being sliced apart by Dana's sword with his mere finger. Last chance, Dana? Give up. Bite me. Dana seethed, venom was dripping from her tone. I'm an Amazon, princess of Themyscira and the rightful queen of Paradise Island. A warrior do not run away from a fight. We Amazons are born to fight to the death. Once I'm victorious in our fight, I will be the worthy daughter, not Diana. Why does it matter? The blonde sighed. Your sister obviously loves you very much, but you're not reciprocating. Your ambition is blinding you, darling. You don't even know. The relentless Amazonian fluidly flipped in the air and fired a 540 crescent kick at the blonde in an attempt to disorient him, who casually deflected the blunt of the force with his raised forearm. Inhaling deeply without needing to need chakra, Naruto spat out a tsunami of hell's fire at a shocked Dana. Katan, Gokameshitsu. Fire release, majestic demolisher. Naruto was like a dragon, spewing out raging inferno that devoured and incinerated everything in its warpath. The intensity of the flame almost instantly melted acres of ice, burning the atmosphere in the process. Dana jumped to the sky and shielded her face from the heat. It was then she realized Naruto wasn't manipulating the elements, nature was simply submitting to his will. Landing to safety, Dana was not prepared to meet face-to-face with Naruto. She instinctively traded blows with the ferocious blonde, whose fists were blazing with white fire. The Amazonian unleashed her arrays of sword dance, but she was confounded and petrified when her opponent countered her assault with his bare hands. He was unpredictable and aggressive in his bombardment of punches, and when his body combusted into pillar of azure flame, he did a tornado kick at her, raising geysers of fire that pierced the sky and torching the heavens. Dana got blasted away by the devastating impact. Her limp body flew away like a ragdoll and crashed into a row of colossal timber trees. As she regained her bearings, the Amazonian climbed to her feet and glanced up, fury burning in her eyes as she glared daggers at the levitating blonde. Naruto, however, noticed an anomaly in Dana's eyes. Magic? Yeah, she's been mind-controlled by a higher power. Kurama scratched his ear. Genjutsu, I suppose? A high-caliber one too. It could easily rival our Koto Amatsukami. That's probably why she can't comprehend reasons. Someone is programming her thoughts. I suggest you go all kung fu fighting on her ass and knock her out of her misery. Oh wait, look out. In the midst of confusion, Naruto was caught off guard when Diana appeared behind him. Her sword fell at him. His impulses kicked in the nick of time as he swapped places with a nearby icicle, preventing his supposedly disembowelment. Whistling in awe, Naruto dusted his clothes, a third eye ripped open from his forehead, revealing his Rinne Sharingan that was scintillating in ominous crimson. You made me use the Menotejikara out of instinct. I'm impressed, Diana. The Spectre was perturbed when he witnessed Naruto exposing his transcendental third eye. The spirit of vengeance had never felt trepidation until this day, because that eye was of primordial origin. His hand was trembling, something which Ares had noticed. You look troubled, Spectre. A sinister and disturbing grin found its way on Jim's face. My man. This Naruto Uzumaki, he never ceases to amaze me. Ares arched a brow. Are you referring to that strange eye of his? That is no ordinary eye, god of war. Jim slotted his hands into his pocket and contained his chuckle. That is the eye of the Decreator. Decreator? The Spectre rolled his eyes. When the Almighty God created the multiverses, he said, let there be light. Just like that, stars were born and the galaxy was filled with light. However, when there is light, there will be darkness. The Decreator was born from the darkness. Some would say the Decreator is the shadow of God. It has only one duty, and that is to stop the rapid expansion of all universes. Rubbing his hands anxiously, Jim's smirk widened. It all makes sense now. I understood why God prohibits us from interfering with Naruto Uzumaki's life. This man harbors the power of the Decreator. That's why God did not make a script for him to follow. He is born to tear down the script God has made for all of us. It's ironic, isn't it? God is unable to remove the only thing that strives to undo all of his creations. Are you implying that Naruto Uzumaki is this Decreator? Jim shook his head. He merely possesses a fragment of the Decreator's power, but... I don't know what you are, Naruto. Diana frowned. Upon inspecting Naruto's peculiar third eye, which was leaking out malicious aura, it was safe for her to conclude that the blonde was definitely not human. But I swear on my honor as an Amazon that if you come willingly with me, I will plead to my mother for your life. Let's end this fight now, please. I will not have it, Donna shrieked. You're doing it again, sister. Always trying to steal my glory. Always trying to take what's rightfully mine. He is my kill, not yours. Donna, stop. In a fit of rage, Donna raised her sword at her horrified sister. You will always be mother's favorite, Donna bellowed. Madness and inebriation were gleaming from her hazel eyes. It has always been Diana this, Diana that. From the day you're born, mother has graced you with umpteen love. Everybody is supposed to bow before your greatness, but what about me? Where is the love that I deserved? But I'll change that, sister. Once I erase him and bring glory to our people, mother will see me as the worthy daughter. Snap out of it, Donna. Diana shook her deranged sister violently. This isn't you. No. You never know what I am. You never recognized me for who I was, but should I blame you for it? Would you recognize your own shadow? Donna scoffed. Nobody pays attention to their shadow. I am just a backup plan, in case you fail to uphold your duties. But I will not allow myself to exist as a bargaining chip no more. From now onwards, I make my own decisions. I am Donna of Themyscira, and I will be queen. Donna, With brutal might, Donna smashed her fist across Diana's jaw, much to Naruto's shock. If Diana hadn't recovered almost immediately from the sucker punch, he would have intervened, but this was family matters. He had no right to interfere until things went terribly south. I never wanted the throne. I only want to be your equal, Diana. I will not fight you, sister. You have no say in this. Since you're so adamant at stopping me from doing what I'm destined to do, then you are my enemy. Donna slashed at Diana with her sword, only to be deflected by her elder sister's blade. Now fight me. Naruto scratched his temples and arched a brow. Wait, isn't she supposed to be fighting me? Who cares? You will not interrupt this catfight, Naruto. You will not take this away from me. There are two hot chicks who are about to fight to the glorious death. This shit doesn't happen, okay? The only time I get to see this is when I'm watching Xena's Games of Thrones, and that phony WWE shit just to sate my girl's fight fetish. Where is my caramel popcorn? Where is it? You need help, Kurama. You need lots and lots of help. Meanwhile, Diana was struggling to dodge Donna's barrage of maniacal assault. She had not once tried to strike her sister. Her vociferous protests had fallen on deaf ears as Donna intensified her array of attacks, even going as far as to aiming for the kill, much to Naruto's chagrin. With adroit strength, Diana clashed her blade against her sister's. This is madness. Is it? Diana's eyes widened in shock as searing pain bombarded her body. She glanced down at Donna's hand, which was plunged into her waist. She looked pleadingly back at her sister, who was grinning in sheer madness at her. Diana mustered a weak smile and nodded. Blood were gushing out from the corner of her lips, but she endured the pain behind her gritted teeth. It must be hard. I'm so sorry, my baby sister. I never knew that you're hurting so much. Confusion plastered on Donna's features as she glared at her elder sibling. The mindless rage in her eyes were slowly evaporating. Grief and pain flashed across Donna's eyes as she held on to her elder sister's body. Why don't you hate me, sister? Why? How could I possibly hate my own family? Diana smiled as she reached out to brush a few strands of black hair over Donna's ear. Tears were streaming down her blue eyes as she choked in her sob. I'm sorry for putting you into so much pain. It's my fault. I should have been there for you more, my little Donna. In an instant, Naruto appeared right between the Amazonians, his outstretched palm directed at Donna's face. Shinra Tensei. Almighty push. The befuddled Amazon didn't have a chance to react when she felt as if a truck had just crashed right at her face, launching her away like a rocket. Naruto's clone had already anticipated the trajectory of Donna's flight and intercepted it with swift precision, delivering a chop at the back of her neck to effectively knock her out before carrying her limp body away. The real Naruto was putting pressure to Diana's wound, her head resting on his lap. He glanced up and snapped his fingers, transporting them back to Uzumaki Clinic. Grail and Kara were still confounded and stunned by what had transpired and the sudden change of scenery. Till now, the daughter of Darkseid was unable to adjust herself to Naruto's capability to warp space and time so effortlessly. Grail, go get the first aid kit. Kara, go get the alcohol. Grail blinked dumbly. Yeah? This is no time for a. Go get the first aid kit, now! Naruto roared. Kara, get to the fridge. Stop standing there like statues. Move out, now! Yes. Grail nudged Kara's elbow and they dashed to their impromptu duties. Jim narrowed his eyes, unpleased with the outcome of the battle. Ares? The god of war was visibly mortified. I didn't know Donna's desire to be her sister's equal would be overshadowed by her hatred for her sister. I deeply apologize for it, but as it stands, you have seen what Naruto Uzumaki is capable of. Turning to Ares, the specter's glowing green eyes flared. Thank you for your service. Until next time. Jim snapped his fingers, banishing the god of war forcefully back to Olympus. After his rage had subsided, he turned back to the scene before him, a nefarious grin tugged at his mouth. You have no idea that both you and I are cut from the same cloth. We both have great taste for exquisite timepieces, we both love good whiskey, we both share the same liking for good music, and we both are doctors. And not to mention, having the power to destroy this world. I can't wait to have you as my pawn. Naruto ripped apart Diana's dress, exposing the raw bloodied flesh on the side of her abdomen. Thick scarlet rivers were running freely from her throbbing wound, but the blonde had managed to stop gushes of blood from spilling out. Diana seized Naruto's wrist, her teary eyes were begging at him. Don't hurt my sister, please. This isn't the time for you to think about that, Diana. I need to stop the bleeding or you'll get into hypovolemic shock. I know you're powerful, Naruto, Diana said weakly. Perhaps stronger than the gods. I know you can kill me as easily as squatting flies, but Donna, she is my family. Whatever she has done, it is not for you to judge her. She is my precious baby sister. The blonde smiled softly. I won't hurt her, Diana. I brought her back to my house. She has been influenced by some mind-manipulating magic, so I knock her out. My clone is removing it as we speak, actually. And magic? Yes. Naruto nodded. So don't worry about her. Right now, we need to patch you up. Grail and Kara had rushed to Naruto's side, passing the instruments to the doctor. Kara was struggling to keep her shaking hands from shaking. After witnessing what Naruto could do, she was still astounded. Naruto wordlessly popped open the bottle of alcohol and delicately poured it on the edges of Diana's wound. He was impressed that the Amazon princess had not once moaned or winced in agony. She merely stared bravely and unflinchingly at Naruto. Her hawk-like gaze studied the blonde as he calmly administered antibiotic ointment on her. You know, Naruto muttered, his eyes fixated at stitching up Diana's wound. My wife was a very strong woman. She had an incredible tolerance to pain. I really admired that part of her. She used to watch me as I worked my way around her injuries, just like how you're doing now. Was? Diana cocked her eyebrow, only to realize the implication behind Naruto's words. I am sorry. It's all in the past now. Naruto grinned. I can tell that your sister is struggling to stop herself from harming you. Diana blinked. What do you mean? Your injury. She could have easily pierced her hand through your spine, but she didn't. Her fingertips went in, but that's about it. All of your vital organs are safe. Naruto let out a sigh of relief. Whatever is controlling her, she is fighting her hardest to refrain herself from killing you. She doesn't hate you, Diana. I'm sure of it. So rest assured, I'll save both you and your sister. It was wrong for Diana to think this way, but Naruto's moment of kindness and fortitude made the Amazonian flustered. She thought she had just seen a Greek god bask in the radiance of the sun. Stop. By the gods, she was a respected professor, as well as the heiress of her mother's throne. Lewd thoughts were unorthodox even for her. Regaining her composure, Diana smiled gratefully. She did try to kill you, though. It doesn't matter. Naruto winked at the beautiful Amazonian. I'm a doctor, remember? Grail stared in amazement as Diana's wound was healing at an accelerated pace. Whoa, she's really a superhuman, huh? I guess your powers are restoring your body at a cellular level. Naruto smirked. That is making my job a lot easier. Turning to Grail and Kara, the blonde smiled. Go tend to Donna. She's in the guest room. I'll handle it from here. Aye, Captain. The daughter of Darkseid saluted the blonde, climbed to her feet, and dragged the still bemused Kryptonian into the bowel of the house. Somewhere on the moon, the quintessence was having a tea party. Underneath the facade of the cosmic beings who claimed to be concerned for the well-being of Earth, they were deluded by the grandeur of being high and mighty, but not the phantom stranger. He was dedicated to preserve civilization. Pinching the bridge of his nose, he glared at the gramophone that was in the corner, playing the Beatles' Here Comes the Sun. Why are we here, stranger? Isaiah the Highfather scowled, drinking his tea like an Englishman would. I hope you didn't yank me out from my realm just for cinnamon tea. We are here to talk about Naruto Uzumaki, the phantom stranger announced. He is the anomaly of this universe. I've heard. Ganthet, the rogue guardian of the universe, stroked his beard. I have seen the good deeds that he has done. I see no reason why we should interfere with his affair, seeing that he has not brought harm to the planet. His intention is pure, stranger. What is the meaning of our meet? The phantom stranger sighed. I'm afraid the Spectre has plans for him. Shazam grunted. The Spectre? What does he want from Naruto Uzumaki? Zeus, the god of Olympus, growled. Spectre? That mongrel has been a menace since the dawn of the universe. I say we gather our might and smite him instead. Isaiah chuckled. Smite him? You're way over your head, Zeus. I guess spending a millennia indulging yourself in your carnal desire as a male whore has made you senile. Do you crave death so much, Isaiah? I am more than willing to grant you a swift death right here, right now. Talk back to me again and I'll kill your entire pantheon, god of Olympus. Try it, High Father. Enough! The phantom stranger roared. We are not here settling petty disputes amongst ourselves. The Lord of all has made his verdict, but the Spectre refuses to listen. Nobody, not even us, is allowed to approach Naruto Uzumaki without a warrant from him. This anomaly does not fit into the universe. His very presence destroys fate and destiny set by him. Now, the Spectre wants to make use of him. Ganthet sighed. What do you suggest we do? Shazam took the opportunity to voice out his opinion. If he is an anomaly from this universe, then he must be eliminated. We cannot allow the monitors to get hold of this information. No! The phantom stranger protested. We can't? I agree. Zeus nodded. Isaiah sneered. For once, we are agreeing with something. I should check if the apocalypse is befalling upon my realm. The phantom stranger looked at Ganthet, hoping that the guardian of the universe would side with him, but to his dismay, hope was lost. Unfortunately, for the sake of the greater good, Naruto Uzumaki must be eliminated. We cannot allow the monitors to come to this world. If they were to find out about Naruto Uzumaki, they will come for him. Their armada will wipe this solar system off the galaxy. Civilization will be lost. Ganthet, no. I'm sorry, stranger. Ganthet narrowed his eyes. We have to send our champions to destroy Naruto Uzumaki. It has to be done. But it's for the greater good, stranger. The guardian of the universe roared. This is final. The despondent phantom stranger stared at his peers in horror. What have I done? The world had always been one giant jigsaw puzzle to Diana Prince, who dared subjugate her poor little sister with some malevolent magic just to assassinate one man. Why was her mother not picking up her phone? What was the truth behind the enigmatic Naruto Uzumaki? How could he do the things he did? There were so many mind-boggling questions in her mind, and truthfully, she was afraid to know some of those answers. She was relieved when she found Dana sleeping peacefully in one of Naruto's guest rooms. His two beautiful sisters had done a marvelous job bandaging the bang-up Dana. After knowing her sister was safe and sound, she ventured out of the house just to get some fresh air. Grasping her gray cardigan tightly, she noticed a certain blonde was ambling towards her. Thank you for saving my sister, Naruto. I didn't do it for her, though. Naruto turned to Diana, throwing his hands behind his back and leaning forward. A warm smile found its way to his lips. His bright blue eyes sparkled with warmth, studying her gaze like a curious puppy would. I just didn't want you to be sad, that's all. Diana was taken aback as the confident and charismatic blonde stood so close to her. She felt her breath hitched and her heart pounding excessively fast. By the gods, it was ironic for the Amazonian princess. As a scion of a men-hating tribe, she was not supposed to feel excited and uneasy for a man, especially one who just couldn't take life seriously. This intriguing and brilliant man was a jigsaw puzzle to her. She didn't respect Naruto because he could level a city with a single thought. No, she admired the blonde for his character. He was insightful and unyielding, compassionate and generous, and above all else, he didn't let his overwhelming powers consume him. His capacity to love ensnared her. Casting her glance to her feet, she realized her shoelaces were undone. Perhaps Naruto had noticed it too, because when she knelt down to tie it, the blonde had bent down just to tie her shoelaces for her. She stared intently at the blonde, who was taking his time working the knots. Naruto smiled as he glanced up, catching her by surprise. Since you're a big shot in the hospital, you probably don't have a boyfriend, right? Diana grinned. Being a nosy doctor in this rundown clinic and taking care of your two sisters, you probably don't have a girlfriend, right? His cheeky smile only grew wider. Look who's asking. I'm not your typical woman who gets smitten by a charming smile. Good. Naruto stood up and in the process lifted her to a standing position. I hope that's the case. Lifting his chin, the blonde gazed appreciatively at the night sky, which was blanketed by stars and a cooling night breeze. I know a place that we can do something great. He offered his hand, gesturing the princess to take it. His statement came off wrong, but the kind smile on his face had swayed her too much to think rationally. Not once did she think the blonde would dare try anything pervasive on her. He just didn't strike her as a grade A asshole. If anything, she could defend herself, but now, she was enjoying the serenity. Diana shook her head, a smile crept up her lips as she laid her hand in his grasp. Naruto levitated, scooping the princess off her feet as they soared to the dark sky. It was akin to a reenactment of Aladdin. Diana could hear faintly the melody of a whole new world in her mind as they flew across a cornfield, only to realize that Naruto was humming the tune with a cheeky grin on his handsome face. Is this your way of courting girls? Diana raised a brow. Is it working? Naruto chuckled. The Amazonian princess averted her gaze, hoping to hide her flushed cheeks from the shadow. Can I assume you aren't a human? Holding her billowing hair in place, Diana smiled softly. I'm an Amazonian. I was born in the soil of Themyscira, a land of women and a warrior nation. To be honest, despite how strong I am, I was afraid when I came to this world. This world of men. What's there to be afraid of? It has great music, interesting cultures, and delicious food. The blonde grinned. But I can relate with that too. I wasn't so sure of myself when I stumbled across this world. So you're not human too? Naruto smiled and gazed down to meet Diana's eyes. I am. I was from a universe where humans could do wonders. It's gone though. Destroyed. Diana grabbed a handful of cloth from his shirt and whispered tenderly. You don't have to tell me if it hurts you. I don't want to see you hurt. The blonde shook his head, a light-hearted guffaw escaped his lips. Nothing to be sad about. The warmongers of my world have torn my world asunder, yet I'm still alive. And I'm glad I am. I destroyed the gods and monsters of my world, but it left me a broken man. My friends were killed in battle. My teachers sacrificed their lives to protect me. My wife and unborn child, well, her last words still haunt me till this day. Naruto. When I came to this world, I wanted to die. I lost my reason to live. My very existence was a mockery to the deaths of my loved ones. Naruto's voice was somber, but he mustered the strength to smile cheerily at Diana. But I was glad to find Grail. I took care of Grail as if she was my daughter. Instead of losing myself to despair, I decided to become a doctor and save lives. Perhaps I wanted to be a doctor so that I could atone for my sins. My sins of losing the people I cared about. I didn't want to lose any more people, Diana. They finally reached their destination. Naruto slowly and carefully let Diana down from his grasp, allowing her to take in the pure cottages that were situated right beside a lake. She turned to the blonde and caressed his warm and chiseled cheek. You won't lose me. There was playfulness gleaming in Naruto's sapphire eyes. It was something Diana found captivating and mesmerizing. He wasn't fearful of her. He sure as hell didn't look lustful, but the confidence oozing from him seemed to shield him from his pain and trauma, and for some godforsaken reason, she wanted to take away all of his pain. So, where are we? 3 years ago, this town is ran over by crimes and poverty. The poverty still stays, but not much for the crimes. Naruto winked at Diana. When I found the kids, they were all so skinny and sick, it just broke my heart. I remembered Grail cried when she saw them. That silly girl went and helped build this shelter for the kids for 48 hours straight. We worked very hard to get them back in health after that. As if on cue, the doors of the cottages burst open and children came dashing to them. Diana was taken aback when the kids jumped at the blonde, tackled him to the ground, and hugged him with glee. The blonde chuckled and ruffled their hair. I miss you guys. I hope you guys didn't give Sister Clarice trouble. We didn't, one of the boys shrieked. Yesterday, Sister Clarice taught us math. It was so boring. Yeah. Max and I were sleeping the whole time. Naruto chided. What did I say about paying attention in class? Where's Grail? Another girl asked. Yeah? Where's Grail? Who's the lady? Oh. Is she your girlfriend? Oh. Big brother Naruto has a girlfriend. Big brother Naruto has a girlfriend. Naruto rolled his eyes and playfully smacked one of the mischievous boy's head, who retaliated by sticking his tongue out at the blonde. Be nice, Sammy. This is Diana. She's a doctor, just like me. Wow. The children squealed, Their attention was fixated at a giggling Diana. Except Grail, Naruto had never brought anybody with him to play with the orphans, so it was a mind-blowing experience for them. One of the older kids tugged at the princess's dress, her eyes sparkled with innocence. "Are you an awesome doctor like Big Brother Naruto?" Brushing strands of ebony locks behind her ear, Diana bent down beside the girl and smiled like an angel would at the child. "That depends. Do you want to be a doctor?" The girl smiled. "Yup. When I grow up, I want to be a pretty doctor like you." "Ah." Diana wrapped an arm around the child's small frame and pulled her close. It was like a mother's hug as the girl melted into her embrace. The Amazon princess turned to Naruto, a brow raised. "So you're their caretaker?" "Sort of." Naruto sat with his legs outstretched on the warm grass alongside the children, who were snuggling him with glee. "They are a handful. Even if it wasn't for Sister Clarice, I would have trouble taking care of them." "Big brother." One of the girls waved frantically at the blonde, catching his attention. "Yeah, Jenny?" "Sister Clarice made us do drawings yesterday. I want to show you what I did." Naruto ruffled the girl's hair and jerked his chin. "Then go show it to me. I can't wait to see it." The girl chirped happily and skipped to her dorm. The rest of the children joined Jenny, wanting to show their surrogate big brother their drawings too. As they scrambled to their dormitory to retrieve their artwork, Diana plopped down right beside the blonde. An alluring giggle that was more soothing than 1,000 kisses escaped her lips. "Seeing how you're so good with kids, I'm surprised you're not a pediatrician." Under a sky of midnight velvet, Naruto had the opportunity to see all of Diana's beautiful features. The lyrics of Sam Smith's "Lay Me Down" played softly in Naruto's mind when Diana stared deeply into his eyes. Her smile just seemed so genuinely sweet. "It's strange, Diana. Whenever we make eye contact like this, my heart beat way faster than normal. It's not right." Diana grinned. "That makes me charming, no?" They shared a light-hearted guffaw under the starry night that was brilliant like Van Gogh's painting as they sat side by side like what a couple would. "So you have been roaming in this planet for a while now. What's your favorite movie?" "My favorite movie?" "Yeah." Naruto flashed her a toothy smile. "Saturday Night Fever." Diana giggled. "I hate to admit, but I used to have a crush on John Travolta." Naruto was flabbergasted. "No way." "What? Have you seen him dance? The guy can shake his butt." Shaking his head in disapproval, Naruto stood up and gestured the Amazon princess to do the same. Diana cupped her mouth, stifling her chortle. The blonde did what a gentleman would do and offered to help the princess to a standing position, who gladly accepted it. Naruto pulled Diana close to him, one of his hand encircled her curvaceous waist, the other was raised and he snapped his fingers. Much to Diana's surprise, the soothing melody of Eric Clapton's Wonderful Tonight filled the air. "How did you do that?" Feigning innocence, Naruto smiled at the princess. "Do what?" "This." Naruto didn't answer her question, but started slow dancing with the Amazon princess. His powerful sapphire eyes studied every pulchritudinous feature of Diana's face, humming to the song while he was at it. Diana reciprocated his curious gaze with an impish smirk. "You never told me what's yours." "Movie? Hands down, Top Gun." "Ah." Diana was perfect when it came to dancing, synchronizing with Naruto's footwork like a natural. "You look like the type of men who would be a fan of Top Gun." The blonde chuckled. "There is no man like me." "Getting carried away now, huh?" Diana arched a brow. "Can I assume you're a fan of 1980s songs?" "I'm a fan of Bruno Mars, if you're trying to imply I'm only into old school." Naruto gave Diana an appraisal look. A knowing grin found its way on his face. "Can I assume your good dancing rhythm means someone is hitting clubs like there is no tomorrow?" The Amazon princess shrugged. "What can I say? I'm a surgeon and a warrior princess. Even a woman like me need to relieve stress from time to time, right? You picked the wrong woman as a dancing partner if you think slow dancing can impress me, because I'm a regular patron of Marquis. Dancing is my life. If you weren't still recovering from your injuries, I'll teleport both of us to this club called Nizza in Barcelona or Zouk in Singapore. They are like my to-go-to clubs when things get depressive." Naruto smiled as a gentle breeze skimmed their skins. "But tonight is wonderful, don't you think?" Diana had lived long enough to grasp the concept of love. She had read stories about how sparks would fly when love was found. At first, she didn't understand, but now she does. Naruto was not just a diamond in the rough. The rest of the world could be hell, but it never affected him as he had shown. Words couldn't explain how safe and warm she felt when she gazed upon his ocean blue eyes. It was as if she was home. Caressing his cheek, the Amazon princess leaned in and whispered, "Why am I enthralled by you? Did you work your magic on me?" "I don't mess with free will," Naruto said. His voice was husky. "Don't make me a selfish person, Diana. The more you get closer to me, the more it makes me want to protect you only and no one else." "I don't need protection." Their lips were inches apart. Diana glanced at his inviting lips and her urge to feel them became overwhelming. She had never felt this way when a man could take her breath away and stole her heart like playing a child's game. This was wrong, she told herself. She was about to go crazy as Naruto leaned forward. His dauntless and soulful gaze illuminated her world. The enchanting music of Wonderful Tonight was only invigorating the moment. It was then their moment was disrupted by the lively cheers of the children. They turned to the commotion, only to see the horde of children laughing and pointing fingers at them. Diana averted her gaze, and if it weren't for the appearance of Sister Clarice, she would have flew off to space and beyond to avoid the embarrassment. Speaking of which, there was something off about Sister Clarice. There was no trace of malice leaking out from the nun. Her kind deposition, her gentle smile, and her eyes filled with compassion were befitting of a saint. Diana knew of nobody who exuded no sign of negativity, but this nun had proven her wrong. The very presence of Sister Clarice made her drop her guard, and as a warrior, she never drops her guard. "It's great seeing you again, Naruto." The nun bowed humbly. "The children miss you so much." Naruto gave Sister Clarice a two-finger salute. "Miss you too, sis. Oh, by the way, this is Diana. She's a doctor working in Paragon Manhattan Hospital." The nun bowed courteously at the princess. "It is a pleasure meeting you, Dr. Diana." "Just Diana would do, sister." "Of course, Miss Diana. Naruto has been a great help to us these past years, but he rarely brings anybody with him, except Grail. That girl has the heart of an angel. God bless her soul. How is she?" The nun spoke like how a grandmother would talking about her grandchild. "Grail is doing fine. I got myself another little sister too. I'll bring her here to show you someday, sis." "And you brought Miss Diana with you and not your newly adopted sister?" Sister Clarice probed. A smile curled at her wrinkled face. The children let out a teasing "oh," much to Naruto's annoyance. "It's not like that, sis. I wanted to show Diana something great. She probably thought I'm gonna bring her to a casino." The nun sighed. "I made soup. Your favorite, actually." Naruto arched a brow. "Sweet potato, coconut, and cardamom soup?" "Yup. Go get it. Children, please make sure your big brother doesn't make a mess in the kitchen." The children stood up, gave the nun a firm salute, and ushered the blonde away. Chuckling lightheartedly, Naruto was pulled to the house by the jovial children, leaving Sister Clarice and Diana to their device. "Would you like some soup too?" Sister Clarice offered. Diana laughed sheepishly. "I'm all right." "I cannot allow that," the nun chided. "Naruto has never brought stranger with him here. He is very protective of the children, so if he were to trust you, then you deserve utmost hospitality. Besides, I can tell that you're injured and lacking nutrients. Please come with me. I'll show you around, but before that, you are getting some of my soup and I won't take no for an answer." The nun seized the princess's wrist and practically dragged her to the house. Standing afar was Grail, whose fiery eyes were burning with jealousy and rage. The Omega effect radiating from her crimson eyes were burning the air around her. A sharp pain struck her and the daughter of Darkseid fell to her knees, clutching her head in stifled agony. She let out a silent scream, only to see the apparition of her father standing before her. "My daughter, the man you love has betrayed you." Grail shook her head violently. "And no, He. You are my daughter, the crown princess of Apocalypse. I am a god, and so are you. A god does not compromise. A god takes what he wants. You, my child, are a goddess. If you so desire him, why are you not taking him?" Because he doesn't love me like I love him." Grail balled her fist. The spirit of Darkseid shook his head in disappointment. "I expect great things from my only daughter. You would allow that woman to claim your man? Is this the outcome you desire? Are you this weak and frail to let someone do that to you? And Naruto only sees me as his sister." Darkseid sneered. "Is that what you tell yourself?" "I love him like a sister would," Grail lied. "If you truly love him, then stop whining and do something about it," Darkseid exclaimed. "You have no right telling me what to do," Grail spat. "You abandoned me and mother." "Is that so?" The dark god chuckled. "It was your mother who left me. Your mother was the one responsible for you growing up without a father. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. You will always be my daughter, Grail. One day, I will claim this world. You cannot deny your heritage. My throne is your birthright. You will be the Empress of Apocalypse. I don't want it. You have no say to it. Diana laid in Naruto's grasp, her cheek resting atop his chest as she studied the strong jawline and the intriguing whisker marks adorning his cheeks. She could not deny that Naruto was a man made to be admired and loved. He was broken, yet still brimming with life and compassion. Brushing her fingers across his chiseled features, Diana couldn't help but smile at the sight of Naruto snoring peacefully in his sleep. It's funny how things turned out for her. She was sent to persuade Naruto to join the hospital, but now she was tucked against him and listening to his heartbeat. The log cabin by the lake that was reserved for Naruto, courtesy of Sister Clarice, was the perfect haven for the weary who wanted to take the weekend off just to be basked in the warm ray of sunrise and listen to the birds chirp jovially above a still lake. When Naruto's eyes creaked open, she was flabbergasted by his pure undiluted blue eyes, as if some divine artist had crushed diamonds and sapphires into his paints, and then colored his iris with the finest brush. He was built like a fantasy, his chest sculptured with the honed muscles of a man who could possibly lift a mountain and more. Good morning. Diana offered a small smile. It's already morning? Naruto almost let out a chuckle. I guess we played with the kids too much last night. You think it could be the soup too? Diana grinned. Naruto stretched an arm and let out a yawn. Sis's soup has that effect on people. Diana started tracing circles on Naruto's muscular chest. Say, you never told anybody, besides your sisters, about your powers? Yeah. Naruto responded as if it was common sense. Why would I do that? Why wouldn't you? The world is not ready for me. They are ready for Superman, Diana argued. Naruto scoffed. Sure they are. She raised a brow. You don't seem to trust human beings. At that, Naruto's eyes lit up. He sat up abruptly with his legs crossed, and so did Diana, who was tidying her disheveled ebony hair. Do you know how I come to this world? From another planet? Diana blinked. That's how Superman came to Earth. I came from another universe, Diana. Naruto's comely features went haggard, thickening the atmosphere. I came from a world where children are trained to be killers and the monsters walk the planet. I came from a world where men like me could easily level an entire country and wipe mountains off the map. Do you understand now? Superman was raised as a symbol of hope for the people of Metropolis, but I was born as destruction incarnate. The humans in this world will never be able to accept a monster like me, Diana. That's not true. Diana reached out to caress Naruto's cheek. You are a brilliant doctor. You saved lives and did countless good for this world. These children would have been dead if it weren't for you. They have a future to look forward to because you saved them. You. Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto shook his head, his face became dreadfully expressionless and all the more dangerous. Diana had to fight a shiver. His face reminded her of what a veteran killer would look like. I became a doctor just so I can atone for the lives I have taken. If I may ask, how many have you killed? The blonde blinked. Too many. A tense silence intruded, but only for a moment. Do you hate me now? Diana tilted her head. Why will I do that? Because I'm different. The very nature of my existence cost me my wife and child. His raspy voice cracked and the sorrow and hurt laced in his voice was palpable. That thing knew about me. They came to my world. They pillaged and destroyed. My homeland. My people. My country. Gone ravaged by the flames of their tyranny. They knew they couldn't kill me, so they sent me away. So far away that I didn't even know which galaxy I hailed from. You have no idea how many planets I have ventured, trying desperately to get back to my world. Naruto didn't cry. His tears were all dried up. Diana had so many questions, but she knew it wasn't right for her to probe him about his tragic past. People who I cherished and loved had either left me or stolen from me. I hate to admit it, but there is no way for me to return to my world. You're not alone, Naruto. Diana pulled Naruto to her bosom and stroked his unkempt hair. You still have your sisters. Your town. These children. Sister Clarice. The Amazonian princess swallowed. Me. She took in a deep breath and mustered a weak smile. People keep secrets because they don't want people to think they are different. That's why people are reluctant to disclose secrets to people. I am grateful that you are willing to disclose your secret to me, Naruto. Why am I doing it? Naruto suddenly glanced up, their lips were inches apart. He stared at her with such fierce intensity that Diana was taken aback by it. She didn't even realize that her heart was pounding, but she was certain of one thing, she liked it. Are you a witch, Diana Prince? Why will you say that? A mischievous grin curled at her lips. Because I'm suddenly revealing things I don't normally tell people. How about a fair trade? I tell you something about me? Naruto's brow was perfectly arched. Oh? Can we lie down first? Without a word, Naruto pulled Diana into his embrace, and they fell back to their warm bed. She pretty much crawled onto him, wrapping her leg around his waist and inhaling his scent. He was enticingly warm. I was born in an island where women thrives in combat. My mother is the queen. My father is Zeus, the king of Olympus. I was raised to inherit my mother's throne. I have no friends because they were taught to be my inferiors. I was lonely and scared. All because I'm different. Naruto shifted his hold on her so he could accommodate her better. I guess we are both different. The weird ones have to stick together, no? As they shared a light guffaw together, they didn't notice the sun had peaked over the horizon. Diana's head perked up. So, what was it like volunteering in Afghanistan? His lips thinned to a straight line as memories flooded his vision. It was a rich experience. I saw many things. I once pulled a girl out from her destroyed home. Airstrike killed her parents. Collateral damage from what I've heard. When we dug her out from the mess, she was too shocked to even show emotions. She sat there in the corner, bloody and injured. That image of her soulless eyes still haunt me in my sleep. Do you believe human beings are too primitive for their own good? I believe there are bad people out there, but there are plenty of good people too. Naruto smiled. We can't throw all the apples away just because of a few rotten ones in the basket. You should sign up for the Justice League. I heard they're recruiting Boy Scouts like you. Diana grinned. Why didn't you? The Amazonian princess huffed. I'm a doctor. I have better things to do than playing vigilante. Besides, I feel that being a doctor is the right thing for me to do. You said you are born from an island filled with warriors, right? And I'm the best of them. Diana beamed proudly. But that doesn't mean I like being one. Saving lives as a doctor suits me. Being a Girl Scout is somehow doing the right thing for the world too. Diana leaned forward, peering at Naruto's dauntless and passionate blue eyes. I make my own decisions, Naruto. So have you made your decision? The Amazonian princess blinked. Naruto's sturdy expression didn't change, but she could have sworn he was amused. Are you going to convince me to join your hospital, or are you going to kill me? Her lips curved, her voice honey and cream. Depends. I notice there is a huge tension between us. Sexual tension, you mean? She was gazing sensually at his lips. Every fiber of her being was compelling her to taste his lips.